The beginning perspective reveals the school beauty's dark history. Lin Xian, who graduated from university, obtained the Black History system, which allows him to see everyone's black history. Black history of the female anchor. She is known as a pure goddess, but before she became a female anchor. Black history of the richest man's son. He is not the richest man's biological son, and is conspiring with his biological parents to transfer the richest man's assets. By making reasonable use of these black history information and obtaining system rewards, Lin Xian's invincible life begins. Chapter 1: Awakening the Dark History System. Ding! Congratulations to their host, Lin Xian, for obtaining the Dark History System. By staring at others for 3 seconds, a personal information interface will pop up, revealing the darkest secret this person is most afraid of others finding out. Every time you use this information to help others, eliminate evil, and protect the innocent, you will receive a special reward from the system. Lin Xian sat alone at the bar, sipping his drink. Heh! Finally, it's here. In this life, Lin Xian had been in this world for 22 years. Today was the day he graduated from college. He had been unsure of what to do next. Unexpectedly, the system, something that every transmigrator was supposed to get, had arrived so late. Well, better late than never. In this life, Lin Xian's parents ran a small convenience store. They could barely make ends meet. In the future, they'd have to face problems like retirement and healthcare, which Lin Xian would need to solve on his own. At this moment, the arrival of the system was like a godsend. He examined the system carefully in his mind. To sum it up, the system had two main functions. 1. To obtain the darkest secrets of others, the things they fear most being exposed. 2. To use these dark histories to help others, punish the wicked, and receive rewards. As for the rewards, the system didn't go into detail. But could the rewards from a system like this ever be bad? Who should I test this function on? Lin Xian looked around, scanning the people in the bar. Just then, the music changed, and 5 beautiful women walked up to the stage. The one in the middle was a popular internet celebrity, Mo Tingmai. She had a large fan base across various short video platforms, and her follower count on Xiaolu Book had surpassed 5 million. She was pure in appearance, with a fiery figure, the goddess of countless people. Half of the men in the bar today had come just for her. What kind of dark history could such a popular beauty have? Lin Xian stared at her curiously. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Ding! A transparent screen appeared before him. Name: Mo Tingmai. Age: 20. Biggest dark history: fake persona. Mo Tingmai has always presented herself as a rich girl, an overseas student, and a music lover. However, she was actually born in a small village in the south, later worked in a clothing factory in XX City, and was fired for stealing clothes. She then worked at a leisure service center in XX City for 3 years and later conspired with her boyfriend, Li XX, to rent a luxury apartment and sell a fake persona to attract fans. Her singing ability is poor, she has no dance training, and all her live performances are lip-synced. Lin Xian was taken aback. The pure and adorable beauty on stage had such a dark history. Her clear voice on stage was all fake. Her lip-syncing was perfectly synchronized. If it weren't for the system, he wouldn't have noticed at all. He couldn't help but think of the fans who had come specifically to see her and the rich people online who sent her gifts. If they found out the truth about her, they'd probably spit blood in shock. Her persona would probably collapse in an instant. Lin Xian shook his head. He didn't intend to get involved. The way people choose to live their lives is their own business. Why should he meddle? However, the system had given him an unexpected surprise. Though it had revealed this person's dark history, it had also detailed the specific village, the factory she worked at, and the individuals involved. Sometimes, even though the system showed someone's dark history, it also revealed the history of their accomplices, partners, and co-conspirators. Lin Xian chuckled to himself. Not bad. Let me try someone else. Lin Xian turned around, facing the rest of the bar, and started scanning the crowd. At that moment, a strong, pungent fragrance wafted into his nostrils. He turned around and saw a young woman dressed in gaudy clothes. She was walking while talking on the phone. Brother Chong, I've put the sleep-inducing drug in Shen Mengchan's cup. I've worked really hard to get her out. Come quickly, don't let anyone else take advantage of her. After this, will the debt between us be cleared? Don't worry, Brother Chong. Her family is so rich, her father won't care about such a small amount of money. His daughter's life is far more important than anything else. The girl chuckled wickedly. Lin Xian couldn't hear the rest of the conversation because the bar was too noisy, but he caught the part about her drugging Shen Mengchan. That must be an illegal drug, right? He had heard that it could make a person lose consciousness and become completely manipulable. Shen Mengchan, the beauty in question, was well known in Donghai City. She was incredibly beautiful, with a hot body, a campus goddess, and the cheerleading squad captain. She frequently represented the university at various events. Her father was the underground king of Donghai City, a powerful and wealthy figure, one of the most influential people in the city. These young people sure are bold. They have no fear. To dare drug Shen Mengchan's daughter, they must be asking for money, not their lives. These kinds of idiotic things are something only immature students would do. They'll probably never know how they ended up getting caught. Lin Xian muttered to himself. This was a crime committed by fools. With surveillance cameras everywhere these days, especially on this street, with cameras at every store entrance, these idiots would definitely get caught sooner or later. So there was no need for Lin Xian to worry about it. Nothing would happen to him. Wait. Lin Xian suddenly remembered what the system had said earlier. Every time you use dark history information to help others, eliminate evil, and protect the innocent, you will receive a special reward from the system. A reward. This was an opportunity to get a reward. Wasn't this a perfect chance to help others? A free gift package, I can't let it slip away. Lin Xian quickly stood up. The girl hadn't gone far. Taking advantage of the crowd in the bar, he slowly approached the girl. Once close enough, Lin Xian focused on her back. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Ding! A transparent information box popped up. Name, Wang Lily. Age, 21. Biggest dark history, born in a small town, her parents sold vegetables to fund her education. However, she pretended to be a rich girl at school, wearing designer clothes, carrying designer bags, and flaunting luxury accessories. She was generous with her underlings and spent money lavishly. But in reality, the money was all from engaging in illicit business, overdrawn credit cards, and online loans. Now, she is deeply in debt and being chased by creditors. People really can't be judged by appearances. She is hiding all of this behind that facade. Lin Xian thought to himself after reading the details. This was a case of inferiority complex and vanity driving her actions. It was pathetic, yet also despicable. Everyone chooses their own path, and as for the school goddess, she had no grudge against her. But now, she was attempting to kidnap the campus beauty and harm others for her own gain. Such people didn't deserve any sympathy. Lin Xian smiled faintly. This was a matter he would definitely take care of. Chapter 2, The Dark Past of the School Belle. Wang Lily. The name felt strangely familiar. Lin Xian rubbed his temples, and then it hit him. A few days ago, he had seen a post on the school forum about a girl flaunting her wealth, whose ID was Queen Lily. That must be the very same Wang Lily in front of him. Lin Xian pulled out his phone and opened the forum. Sure enough, Queen Lily's post about being on a cruise was still pinned at the top. Clicking into it, the comments were mostly full of admiration. I'm so jealous. I want to go on a cruise just like Queen Lily. I once saw Queen Lily in class. She is so elegant, even more so than Shen Mengchan. Hey, don't compare a nouveau riche with our Mengchan. The school belle position is unshakable. No need to belittle anyone. Wang Lily and Shen Mengchan are actually good friends with a very close relationship. Lin Xian sighed as he looked at the noisy comment section. It was this kind of envy that fueled Wang Lily's vanity and led to the current situation. He put his phone away and decided to find Shen Mengchan first. There was no need to say it. She had to be in this bar as well. Tell her about this and get her to leave the bar as soon as possible. It's the least I can do to help, Lin Xian thought to himself. I wonder what reward the system will give me for this. With that thought, Lin Xian walked towards the main hall and began scanning the area. Soon enough, Lin Xian spotted a pure beauty who clearly didn't fit the bar's style, sitting quietly in an inconspicuous corner. She wore a light blue dress, her delicate features standing in stark contrast to the bar's gaudy, seductive atmosphere. Without a doubt, this was the famous school belle of Donghai University, Shen Mengchan. At that moment, Shen Mengqian was sitting alone on the sofa, holding a colorful cocktail. She frowned and stared groggily at her drink. Thankfully, she hasn't had much to drink, Lin Xian thought, keeping an eye on her while slowly approaching. Suddenly, a prompt sounded in his mind. A transparent window popped up again. Lin Xian froze. What? It was completely unexpected. He hadn't intended to look into Shen Mengqian's dark history at all. But somehow, just by keeping an eye on her to make sure he didn't lose track of her, the system activated her black history by mistake. Cough, sorry, that was a mistake, he muttered. But since the window had popped up, he was curious enough to take a look. Name, Shen Mengqian. Age, 20. Dark history, Foot. Lin Xian couldn't hold back and laughed out loud. Wait, can this even be considered a dark history? Seeing the school bell's black history, Lin Xian was deeply shocked. He never would have imagined that this graceful beauty, who seemed to embody youth at its peak, had been troubled by this issue since childhood. No wonder I've never heard of Shen Mengqian teaching her boyfriends. I used to think her family was very strict, but now I think she's probably just shy and afraid of being seen. Shen Mengqian actually had such a unique condition. It was hard to say whether her future husband would be thrilled or confused. Forget it, forget it. I'll pretend I didn't see anything, Lin Xian said as he waved his hand, no longer paying attention to the window. He continued walking toward Shen Mengqian. However, after this unintended test, Lin Xian understood something. The system's monitoring of dark histories wasn't exactly what the public would consider dark history. Instead, it was the deepest, most feared secret that each person had buried in their heart. In other words, the results were determined by the person being examined. Lin Xian adjusted his expression and walked toward Shen Mengqian in the corner. Everyone else was dancing in the center, so the corner was much quieter. Yet Shen Mengqian sat there, like a beam of light, drawing everyone's gaze. Before Lin Xian could reach her, a shabby-looking guy with messy hair walked over to her. Hey, beautiful, it's so boring sitting alone. Come on, let us have some fun. We'll drink and dance with you. Shen Mengqian coldly replied, no thanks. I came here with my friends. They'll be back soon. Shen Mengqian had lost count of how many people she had rejected by now. Most of the bars near the university were filled with students. If they were turned down, they usually understood and left. But not this guy. This little thug was clearly a different kind. Come on, let us have fun. It'll be more lively with more people. Your friends can join us when they arrive. The little thug, clearly drunk, stepped forward and tried to grab Shen Mengqian's hand holding the drink. Hey! Before the thug could touch her, Lin Xian stepped in and twisted his hand behind his back. The thug yelped in pain and immediately started swearing, who the hell are you? When he looked up and saw Lin Xian, who was a head taller than him, his tone immediately softened. Just because you're tall, you think you're special? Bro, I saw her first. First come, first served, you understand. Lin Xian didn't bother arguing with him. He twisted the thug's arm and shoved him aside. Drunk people often acted impulsively. The thug, feeling disregarded, shouted, if you're so tough, don't move. He rolled up his sleeves and looked ready to fight. Lin Xian frowned and said, scram. The thug, seeing Lin Xian's calm demeanor, became even angrier. As he ran toward Lin Xian, he shouted, kid, you're really bold. Let us have a proper chat. Lin Xian smiled faintly. How about we chat about the Ferrari that young Master Zhao had wrecked? The thug froze in shock. What are you talking about? How do you know? He was in complete disbelief. This was supposed to be a secret. The road had no cameras, and no one had witnessed it. How did this guy know? The thug looked at Lin Xian, confused. This was the deepest secret he had, and if young Master Zhao found out, he would be finished. Lin Xian smiled. If young Master Zhao finds out, he'll probably want to have a nice chat with you too. The thug immediately froze, fear washing over him. Realizing the possible consequences, he dropped to his knees, slapped his face repeatedly, and cried, Big brother, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. I deserve to die. Slap. Slap. After being slapped dozens of times, Lin Xian looked at the thug's face, which was swollen like a pig's head, and said, Get lost. Don't let me see you again. Get a grip on yourself. Without a word, the thug scrambled to his feet and ran off, not daring to look back. The thug would never know. The handsome young man had discovered his secret just by glancing at his back. When the thug first approached Shen, Lin Xian had been watching him closely. 3 seconds later, the thug's dark history had appeared. Name, Li Tong. Age, 17. Dark history: a week ago, riding a motorcycle with a spiritual girl, they raced through a dim alley and crashed into a parked car. Upon checking, it was young Master Zhao's limited edition Ferrari. Seeing no one around, no cameras, he grabbed the girl and ran. The Zhao family of Donghai City was one of the top families, with influence in both the underworld and the legitimate world. Young Master Zhao, the only son of the Zhao family, was practically untouchable in the city. When he learned that his favorite car had been damaged, he was furious. Young Master Zhao offered a reward of 500,000 yuan to anyone who could provide information on the person who hit his car. How could this little thug not be scared out of his wits? Chapter 3: Systems Reward Package. After the little thug crawled away, Lin Xian walked up to the seat opposite Shen, pulled out a chair, and sat down. Just as he was about to speak to her, a notification rang in his mind. Ding! Congratulations, host. You've successfully helped someone using the Black History information. Reward package unlocked. Do you want to open it now? Huh? He hadn't even started talking to Shen yet, and he was already receiving a reward. Right. It was for helping her out with the drunk thug earlier. Not bad. The system had given him a big reward package right off the bat. Thinking about this, Lin Xian said mentally to the system, "Open the package." Ding! Congratulations, host. You've received Master Level Sonder Chinese Kickboxing. Master Level Sonder, you can skillfully use techniques like throws, kicks, and strikes for defense and offense to easily overpower opponents, even in multiple against one situations. Nice. This was a solid self-defense skill, and it was already at the master level. Combined with his years of fitness training, he could now easily fight off multiple opponents at once. But this wasn't the time to celebrate. He needed to deal with the situation with the school beauty first. Blocking a drunk wasn't a huge thing, but the reward had been so powerful he was curious what kind of reward he'd get for stopping a kidnapping. Lin Xian was looking forward to it. Seeing Lin Xian lost in thought without saying anything, Shen broke the silence first. Hello, classmate. Thank you for helping me out just now. My name is Shen, what should I call you? Lin Xian snapped out of his thoughts and stopped worrying about the reward package. Sitting down and looking at Shen, he replied, I'm Lin Xian. We go to the same school. Let me get straight to the point. Your friend, Wang Lily, is planning to kidnap you and threaten your family for ransom. You can either come with me, call your parents, have your driver pick you up, or call the police. Just don't stay here. Shen was stunned for a moment before she smiled and replied, Thank you, Lin Xian, for helping me out. But this is a graduation party, and everyone will be here soon. Besides, Lily's family isn't lacking in money. Why would she want to kidnap me? Kidnapping is a crime. Her parents love her so much. Even though they are in another city for work, they often send her gifts and take her traveling around the world. So she has no shortage of money. Lin Xian had expected Shen to be skeptical. After all, she had just met him, and Wang Lily had been her classmate for years. But Lin Xian wasn't discouraged for the reward. He had to continue. Shen, I know this is hard to believe. But Wang Lily is not actually from a wealthy family. Her real source of income comes from bad business dealings, student loans, credit cards, etc. She is planning to kidnap you because her creditors have her cornered. Even if you don't believe me and don't want to call the police, at least call your parents or have your driver pick you up. You won't lose anything, will you? Plus, it's already so late, and none of your classmates have arrived. Don't you find that strange? Shen paused, looked at Lin Xian's serious face, and felt a bit uncertain. Although Wang Lily had claimed to have come early because she had mistaken the time, Shen had been there for a while, and no one had arrived yet. It seemed odd. Wang Lily had also disappeared and hadn't returned. Shen, though innocent, wasn't naive. Having grown up in a business family where deceit was commonplace, Shen Mengqian found it hard to believe that anyone would help a stranger without expecting something in return. "Why are you helping me then?" Shen Mengqian asked cautiously. "We're just classmates, and I don't even know you. Most people wouldn't bother explaining so much." Lin Xian gave her a professional smile, then pulled out a pre-planned response. "I'm an information broker, and I know many secrets. I stumbled upon this information about Wang Lili by chance. Of course, the information isn't free. A fee of 200,000 for your safety is quite reasonable, considering the circumstances." Shen Mengqian sighed in relief, and her clenched fist relaxed. His explanation made sense. After all, everyone has their reasons for doing things, and the most common reason is money. She thought for a moment before replying, "Okay. If what you're saying is true, I'll transfer 300,000 to you, 200,000 for the information, and 100,000 as thanks for helping me earlier." However, Shen Mengqian still hesitated. As the future heir of her family, she was strictly prohibited from coming to places like bars. If her family found out, she would be scolded, so no one at home knew she had come here. She had only told them she was staying after school for extra lessons and dinner with a classmate. Wang Lili had told her this was the last graduation gathering, and everyone would attend, so Shen Mengqian felt obligated to go. After some consideration, Shen Mengqian added, "But Lin Xian, words alone don't prove anything. Since you know about me, you must know something about my family that others don't. Can you tell me something only my family and I know? If you can do that, I'll believe you and pay you in advance." Although it was hard for Shen Mengqian to believe a student could be an information broker, she wanted Lin Xian to prove it. If he could convince her, she would be willing to take the risk and trust him. Shen Mengqian stared at Lin Xian anxiously, and Lin Xian simply smiled mysteriously. Chapter 4, You Are the White Tiger. Lin Xian stood up and walked over to Shen Chuchan's side. He leaned in close to her ear and whispered softly, "You are the White Tiger." Crash! The wine glass in Shen Chuchan's hand fell to the ground. Instantly, Shen Chuchan's face turned as red as if it could bleed. Her eyes widened. How did Lin Xian know? Her face was filled with disbelief as she stared at Lin Xian. You pervert. You've been spying on me." "No, wait, you've been peeping on me. Did you install cameras at my house? This is illegal. You've committed a crime. I can sue you at any time." Shen Chuchan had never been this embarrassed or at a loss for words before. From a young age, she had always remained calm in tough situations, but now, for the first time, she shouted and lost her composure, not caring about her image. This was her biggest secret, and the thing she considered her most shameful past. A secret that even her family and best friends didn't know about. Now, a man someone she had only just met knew about it. At this moment, Shen Chuchan wished she could find a hole in the ground to crawl into. Ever since puberty, Shen Chuchan had realized she was different from others. She saw her friends develop, but she never did. At first, she thought she might just be developing later than others. But it never happened. She started to worry, began searching online, and found out that it was a physiological flaw. From then on, Shen Chuchan became self-conscious and refused to join her friends in hot springs or swimming pools. Even when she couldn't resist and went to the gym with them, she would rather go home with a sweaty body than shower in a public bath. She started rejecting all advances from boys and avoided normal friendships, let alone dating. She became insecure, believing she had a defect, and guarded her secret carefully. She feared that if others discovered it, they would despise or mock her, and she had already prepared herself for a lonely life. But now, today, after keeping this secret for so long, someone found out a man. This was like a thunderclap, striking her unexpectedly. She felt completely devastated, like she was being torn apart. Seeing Shen Chuchan's face filled with despair and her eyes welling up with tears, Lin Xian shrugged helplessly. It wasn't that he didn't want to explain, but there was no way to explain this matter. He could only tell Shen Chuchan, "I didn't follow you or have any peeping habits. Don't worry, there are no cameras in your house." It would have been better if Lin Xian had said nothing. When Shen Chuchan heard his words, her body trembled with rage. "You say you didn't install cameras, then how do you know about it?" Lin Xian could only give a vague answer. "I'm in this business, and this involves confidential matters. Sorry, I can't tell you." Shen Chuchan immediately exploded in anger. Her embarrassment was now replaced by fury, and she had never been this angry before. "You're committing a crime. When I get home, I'll hire a lawyer, gather evidence, and sue you. Just wait to be prosecuted, and then let us see how you'll defend yourself. Lin Xian looked at the angry school beauty and gave a faint smile. The secret was something you asked me to reveal. What about the deal we made earlier? Shin Chu-chan glared at Lin Xian, saying, I won't make deals with scoundrels. You can just deduct the money from your compensation. Lin Xian helplessly thought to himself, she really believes I installed surveillance cameras at her house and spied on her. Sigh. This quest for a big reward sure has its complications. Now, I might even face a lawsuit. But even if she turns her house upside down, she won't find any evidence, because I didn't do anything. Bang. Shin Chu-chan stood up and accidentally bumped her head into someone's chin. The person had come from behind, and hadn't expected Shin Chu-chan to stand up suddenly. She quickly took a step back, still angry, but her upbringing didn't allow her to take her frustration out on others. She immediately apologized, not even looking up. Sorry, are you all right? I was just. The person interrupted her with a rough voice, waving his hand. Enough with the useless talk. Are you Shin Chu-chan? Shin Chu-chan raised her head in confusion and looked at the two men in front of her, one rubbing his chin, with a long scar across his face. Who are you? Do you know me? These two didn't seem friendly, their faces rough with tattoos all over their arms. The one who wasn't hurt impatiently pointed to the door. That's not important. Wang Lily is your friend, right? She's waiting for you over there. Go see her. Shin Chu-chan glanced in the direction they pointed to the door. She didn't see Wang Lily. She suddenly remembered what Lin Xian had said earlier. Your friend Wang Lily, along with others, plans to kidnap you. Could it be true? Shin Chu-chan broke into a cold sweat and refused. I can't go out. If my classmates come back from dancing, they won't find me. If Lily needs something, she can come in. She deliberately pointed to the young boy in the dance hall. The man with the scar rubbed his chin and said, Enough talking, just come with us. Shin Chu-chan hesitated, then said, Wait here, I'll call my classmates to let them know. Just as she took out her phone, the man with the scar snatched it away. No need for that. Your classmates already know. Hurry up and come with us. This was bad. Even a fool could see these two men didn't have good intentions. She absolutely could not go with them. They probably had accomplices, and as soon as she stepped outside, they would throw her into a car and take her away. What to do? Call for help? No, this was a dead zone, no one could hear her. What if they got angry and hurt her? She definitely wouldn't escape. Call the police? Her phone was taken. In that moment, Shin Chu-chan's mind raced, thinking of countless ways to get out of this, only to dismiss them one by one. Finally, she turned back and said, Mr. Lin, I'm sorry for misunderstanding you earlier. She paused, still blushing as she mentioned the secret. Although I don't know how you found out, I believe you didn't install the cameras. I will keep my promise to pay you. Please, help me again. Hearing Shin Chu-chan hesitate, the man with the scar impatiently interrupted. Enough chatter, hurry up and come with us. He was about to grab Shin Chu-chan's shoulder. The other companion glared at Lin Xian fiercely. Kid, stay out of this. I advise you not to interfere. Watch out, or you'll be asking for trouble. Lin Xian, with great interest, watched the scene unfold. Don't worry, brothers. I'm not close with her. She even said she would sue me earlier. When they heard this, the previously strong-willed Shin Chu-chan nearly cried out in panic. With a broken voice, she shouted. Lin Xian. I misunderstood you earlier. I apologize, I'm sorry. I'll pay you when I get home. Please, I beg you. Lin Xian smiled. No. Miss Shin, that was the old price. Now, it's clearly not the same anymore. Buying a plane ticket a month in advance isn't the same as buying it on the day of, is it? Chapter 5, The Understanding Campus Beauty and the Clueless Boss. The thug with a scar on his face became impatient. Enough with the nonsense, hurry up and come with me. He reached out to grab Shin Chu-chan. Shin Chu-chan saw the thug making a move toward her and quickly stepped back to avoid him. She slapped away his hand and scolded. Don't touch me. Stay away from me. She then turned to look at Lin Xian, who was standing by, unaffected, and pleaded. 500,000. Lin, please, I beg you, help me. I don't care about the cost. Shin Chu-chan understood that at this moment, Lin Xian was the only one who could help her. Even though they had just met, she inexplicably trusted Lin Xian's ability. Lin Xian smiled slightly upon hearing this. I really don't understand the thinking of rich people. You refuse the offer of a drink but want to drink the punishment wine. If you had cooperated earlier, we wouldn't be in this mess now. Boom! A huge sound erupted. Shin Chu-chan didn't understand what had just happened. She only felt that, as soon as Lin Xian finished speaking, the thug with the scar was thrown backward into the wall. Boom! Another loud crash, and the scar-faced thug smashed through the decorative wall, collapsing to the floor, unconscious. Shin Chu-chan stood frozen, stunned. What just happened? She had only seen Lin Xian move his arm up slightly, and then the big thug flew into the air. That's right. He literally flew off the ground and crashed into the wall. Is this Lin Xian really just her classmate? How could he be so strong? Shin Chu-chan couldn't wrap her head around it. Lin Xian didn't look like the type who was particularly skilled in combat. Could he really be an undiscovered martial arts master? Even Lin Xian himself was a little shocked, but he didn't show it on the surface. As expected of a master-level Sonder Chinese free fighting. Just a casual punch, and its power was incredible. Another fat thug, seeing his partner get knocked out, shouted and rushed forward. You little brat, how dare you lay your hands on us? I'll make you wish you were never born. Boom. Another loud sound. This time, accompanied by the sound of breaking bones. Lin Xian's whip kick was still hanging in the air as the man was sent flying onto the stage, crashing into a large speaker. This time, everyone in the bar was stunned. Looking at the two unconscious men on the floor, the bar fell into a moment of complete silence. At that moment, 4 more burly men with sticks entered through the door. They were the companions of the earlier thugs, waiting outside. When they saw their companions Hanti come out, they guessed something was wrong and rushed in with their weapons. They scanned the quiet crowd and then looked at Lin Xian, who was standing beside Shin Chu-chan. You little brat, were you the one who ruined our plan? Lin Xian glanced at the speaker without saying a word. His attitude immediately enraged the 4 men. However, seeing their 2 partners lying unconscious on the floor, the thug who had spoken didn't let his anger cloud his judgment. He cautiously called out to his companions. This kid looks like he knows a thing or two, but it's fine, we'll take him together. As he spoke, the burly man stepped forward, wielding the stick, and aimed for Lin Xian's head, followed by the 3 others with weapons. Boom! 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 In the blink of an eye, the 4 thugs were sent flying backward. No one saw what happened. The scene felt too terrifying. Everyone felt as if they missed a crucial moment, like a buffering error on the internet. The thugs who were thrown out smashed into the bar, wrecking everything. The wall lights were all knocked down. Tables and chairs were turned over and broken. The nearby bar shelves also toppled over. Drip. 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 The broken bottles dripped onto the ground. It felt like a drop of water had fallen into a still pot of oil, and the crowd began whispering. Wow! This guy is so cool. He can really fight. Is he like Ip Man? This can't be a movie, right? There are no cameras around, and this is for real. Look at that guy's leg, it's clearly broken. TSK, what a hero saving the beauty. It's true that heroes deserve beautiful women. That girl next to him is stunning, anyone would do anything to protect her. Wait, isn't he that girl the campus beauty from our university? She's also the face of our cheerleading team. What is she doing in a place like this? Hearing the crowd's chatter, Lin Xian just smiled lightly, not showing any extra emotion. He turned to Shin Chu-chan, who was still in a daze. Miss Shin, it's a pleasure doing business with you. Let me take you home. Shin Chu-chan snapped out of her trance and nodded, taking a few steps forward. Clap, clap, clap. Suddenly, applause interrupted the crowd's chatter. It also stopped Lin Xian and Shin Chu-chan's steps. Lin Xian looked up. A short, fat man with a vicious glare was slowly lowering his hands from clapping. Behind him stood dozens of waiters in bar uniforms. The short man laughed loudly, speaking in a sarcastic tone. Har har har. Little brother, you sure know how to fight. Don't rush off. I don't know if you're trained by Ip Man or Wang Fei Hung, but can you take on the people behind me? He chuckled and his subordinates laughed along. The sarcastic man, who could bring so many bar staff with him, was likely the bar manager. Lin Xian stared at his arrogant face without speaking. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. Ding. A transparent information box popped up. Name, Li Xian. Age, 37. Black history, Li Xian works under Zhao Yingjie and oversees the bar. Although Zhao Yingjie isn't great himself, he follows family rules in business, especially about drugs. He doesn't allow them, and anyone caught dealing drugs in his bar faces certain death. However, Li Xian is greedy and secretly deals drugs in the bar. This Li Xian was clearly a repeat offender. He didn't fear death. He worked as a dog for young Master Zhao and still dared to break Zhao's rules. No wonder this had become his black history. If young Master Zhao, a notorious figure in Donghai City, knew about this, he would never let Li Xian off the hook. For a family like Zhao's, playing with women or gambling could be solved with money and power. But when it came to drugs, no matter who you were or how powerful your connections, it was a dead end. It was a challenge to the law. It was a challenge to young Master Zhao's bottom line. Lin Xian gave a light smile. Looking at the short, fat man puffing on a cigar with an arrogant expression, he shook his head. Then he calmly pulled up a chair and sat down. Since you want to let me leave, I want to leave. The short, fat man watched Lin Xian's movements, his eyes widening. He thought to himself, is this guy a fool? So, he too pulled up a chair and sat across from Lin Xian. Fine, I like your attitude. Let us have a good chat. If we can settle this peacefully, that would be the best. He then gestured toward the waiters behind him, as if implying something. Lin Xian ignored the short, fat man's posturing. He crossed his legs and smiled slightly. So, how do you want to solve this? Seeing that Lin Xian was playing along, the short, fat man thought he had the upper hand. He'd been paying attention to Lin Xian since the fight started because this was his turf. When he first saw Lin Xian's skills, he was surprised he hadn't seen someone this capable before. But business was business. He had to make Lin Xian pay for destroying his bar. Little brother, let us be reasonable. You've destroyed my bar, and I can't just let you walk away with a smile. You've broken a whole wine cabinet full of top-tier wine, and now the equipment is useless. This compensation bill? I think we need to settle it properly. Chapter 6. Everyone kneeled. The situation reversed instantly. Lin Xian remained calm and smiled slightly. Let's calculate it carefully. Yes, I also think this matter needs to be carefully considered. Seeing how sensible Lin Xian was, Li Xian actually admired him a little. At the same time, I am also puzzled. What is the reason for Lin Xian's calmness? Maybe the family is really rich. If you think about it carefully, the cost of fighting is so high now. This young master dares to be so bold, he must have prepared the money. Think of this. Li Xian couldn't help but feel in a good mood. There is nothing more joyful than blackmailing a rich second-generation kid. Since you are so sensible, it will be easy. Tell me, how much are you going to compensate me? As long as the price is right, we will be friends in the future. You are always welcome here. If the price is not right, I think you know the consequences. Master Zhao from the East Sea knows, right? He's my eldest brother. Lin Xian snorted and laughed after hearing this. Li Xian, I didn't expect that you were still thinking about Master Zhao. Li Xian's face straightened. What do you mean? I'm warning you. Don't be idle here. Let's get down to business. Lin Xian put down his crossed legs. Looking at Li Xian faintly. You can ask me to compensate you, but... Lin Xian deliberately left his words half said, waiting for the short and fat man to ask questions. But what? The short and fat man did not disappoint him. Lin Xian laughed and continued. But before that, shall we first talk about how you, Li Xian, sold drugs behind the back of our Master Zhao? Bang! The short and fat man jumped up from the stool. The movement was too big and the chair fell over. He stood there in a daze for a long time, until the cigar in his hand burned his fingers, and then he reacted. Hiss! Looking at Lin Xian who was smiling faintly in front of him. The short and fat man suddenly felt that this person was unfathomable. How do you know? No, you are Mr. Zhao's man. At this moment, Lin Xian suddenly frowned, slammed the table, and shouted. Li Xian. You are so brave. You even dare to fool Mr. Zhao. Li Xian's face changed from his previous confident and calm look to one full of shock and fear. He turned around and looked at his two confidants. The two of them immediately shook their heads in panic and explained at the same time. Brother, it's not me. I've been by your side all day. How dare I say such a thing? Me too, big brother. We've been together all day. You know how tight-lipped I am. After saying that, the two realized that something was wrong and took the others to clear the area. Let's go, we're closed today. Get out. The fun hasn't finished yet, get out now. He even pointed out a few people. You, go and throw out those lying there too. The two of them walked back only when there was no outsider in sight. In the quiet bar, Li Xian stood there sweating profusely. At this moment, he deeply understood what it meant to be in heaven one second and hell the next. He was just thinking about blackmailing Lin Xian for money, but now he was just filled with fear. That's right. Fear. Mr. Zhao once held a separate meeting with the men who were looking after the bar and said seriously. Apart from drugs, no matter what happens to you, I am sure I can protect you. But let me be frank with you, if any of you really touch it, don't blame me, Master Zhao, for being ruthless. Thinking of this, Li Xian broke out in a cold sweat on his back. Outsiders may not be very clear about Mr. Zhao's methods. But those who have been with him the longest know it clearly, it is really worse than death. Originally, Li Xian did not touch drugs. It was his confidant who discovered that a gangster was selling them in his bar. For some reason, Li Xian didn't care. Not long after seeing the gangster driving a luxury car and wearing branded clothes, Li Xian couldn't sit still anymore. Who wouldn't he be tempted by such a profitable business? It just so happened that Li Xian at this time had a mistress who was a college student and was short of money. So, hoping for luck, I started selling secretly. He began to sweat. The corner of my eye glanced at Lin Xian. Who is this person? What did he just say? Our young Master Zhao. Li Xian understood instantly. Right. It must be that Master Zhao was too busy and asked someone else to check privately on his behalf. This is simply a secret visit. It's impossible to guard against. Watch his reaction. Lin Xian knew that his plan was successful. In fact, Lin Xian didn't know Mr. Zhao at all, he was just using his talent to gain a bigger reputation. However, Li Xian was feeling guilty at the moment and had no time to think too much. Shen Chuchan, who was standing behind, also opened his mouth in surprise. She had no idea how things turned out like this. The short and fat guy who was so confident just now. Just because of Lin Xian's words, he lowered his head like a frost-bitten eggplant, and seemed to be trembling with fear. Where did Lin Xian get such ability? Because he's an intelligence dealer? Is that so great? It seems like he has a plan for everything. Shen Chuchan suddenly had an unrealistic idea. If I really put him to death for his sins, and he focuses all his energy on dealing with my family, will my family also go bankrupt and wither? Take a long breath. Fortunately, no matter what, I didn't completely offend him. And Lin Xian just watched quietly. Seeing Li Xian grabbing his hair in frustration, Li Xian's men were so scared that they dared not breathe. Suddenly, Li Xian had an idea. This brother has not told Mr. Zhao about this matter. Well, then there is still hope. There is still room for change in this matter. Plop. Li Xian knelt down and walked to Lin Xian's legs. Brother, please save my brother. Lin Xian was not moved at all and didn't even look at him. Plop, plop, plop. The sounds of people kneeling were heard one after another. They are Li Xian's men. Seeing their boss kneeling down, everyone followed suit. Looking at the indifferent Lin Xian, Li Xian was so anxious that tears came to his eyes. Little brother, it's really not easy for me. I have to take care of the elderly and children at home all by myself. I was also bewitched for a while and was deceived by others. Just save me this time, I won't dare to do it again. There will definitely not be a next time. Looking at the short fat man begging him with tears in his eyes, Lin Xian tapped the chair handle with his fingers. Li Xian, you have committed a fatal mistake. But don't worry, Master Zhao is kind and righteous. He will only punish you and will not harm your family. Upon hearing this, Li Xian was so frightened that he trembled all over. Brother, good brother, please let me go just this once. It's not easy to make money these days. Otherwise, I can't make any mistakes. Please, save me this time. You can do whatever you want. After saying this, he began to kowtow, and his subordinates followed suit. For a moment, the only sound in the bar was the thumping of heads. Lin Xian originally just wanted to scare the short and fat man so that he could take Shen Chuchan away, but he didn't expect it to turn out like this. Now it is a bit difficult to back down. How should the next play be performed? After all, he is just a fox relying on the power of another. The more he talks, the faster he will be exposed. It's better to leave early. Got it. Lin Xian thought of a clever plan that kills two birds with one stone. Lin Xian stopped tapping the chair handle. He lowered his head and smiled, looking at Li Xian. What is Boss Li doing? Why are you crying poor now? In my opinion, Boss Li, you make so much money from this business, you live a much more comfortable life than most of us. Oh, I'm so envious. Li Xian is naturally a shrewd person. Upon hearing Lin Xian say this, instant smile. Chapter 7, Empty-Handed Skills. Take everything. After all, Li Xian is a veteran. As soon as Lin Xian said this, he immediately understood the meaning of the words. He looked very happy. Turning to look at his confidant. Go. There's a box at the bottom of my office cabinet, bring it here. Lin Xian's implication was very clear. Just want money. To put it bluntly, it means letting Li Xian take the money and be done with it. This is a good thing for Li Xian, as it means he is saved. In Li Xian's eyes, everyone is a gangster and they all work under Master Zhao, so naturally they are closer. It would be best to solve this problem with money at this time. As the old saying goes, if money can solve a problem, it's not a problem. In fact, Lin Xian doesn't really care about Li Xian's money. However, Lin Xian's current identity is Mr. Zhao's investigator. If he just left without saying anything or doing anything, Li Xian would probably be desperate. At that time, it would be difficult for Lin Xian and Shen Chuchan to leave. Accepting his money means that you won't tell anyone about it. After all, you have to take the money from him. This money. Li Xian gave Lin Xian peace of mind and he left with peace of mind. As for being discovered to be fake later, it's all out now, so we'll deal with it later. At this time, Li Xian was feeling nervous and was anxiously waiting for his confidant to bring something over. Boss, bring it over. The confidant hurried over with the box. Li Xian took the box and handed it to Lin Xian with both hands, stuttering a little nervously. Brother, thank you. This is a small thank you gift. It is not a token of respect, but please accept it. Lin Xian glanced at the small box indifferently. The box looked quite heavy. He reached out to take it and opened it directly on the table next to him. Click. The sound of the box lock opening. There were only 2 gold bars, each as thick as a thumb, lying quietly in the box. Li Xian's brothers all took a breath. Lin Xian looked at Li Xian's expectant expression and deliberately showed a satisfied look. Boss Li, don't worry. When I get back, I will definitely say a few good words for you in front of Mr. Zhao. Call. Li Xian let out a sigh of relief. Although he felt a little pain, he felt relieved when he saw Lin Xian was satisfied. After all, this was the money he used to pay for his life. As long as Lin Xian doesn't say anything nonsense to Mr. Zhao when he goes back, it's better to forget about the nice words, Li Xian complained secretly. Then he replied with a smile. I dare not trouble you, brother. Thank you so much this time. Shen Chuchan also stretched her head out of curiosity to take a look, then stood back nonchalantly. As the successor of the family, this huge wealth in the eyes of ordinary people is not worth her at all. Shen Chuchan's original good impression of Lin Xian's mysteriousness plummeted in an instant, and he became a villain who would do anything for money. She secretly made up her mind that she would pay the money when she got out, and they would be strangers from then on. Naturally, Lin Xian had no way of knowing what was in Shen Chuchan's mind. Click. Lin Xian closed the box and looked at Li Xian, who was eager for him to leave. Then I will accept it on behalf of Mr. Zhao. This matter ends here. Will you sell it again in the future? Li Xian shook his head like a rattle. Brother, don't worry, I won't do that again. If it happens again, just chop off my hand. Lin Xian stared at Li Xian and warned. Next time, I won't cut off your hand, but I will definitely tell Master Zhao. You should be very clear about Master Zhao's methods. I don't need to say more. You can do it on your own. Li Xian nodded repeatedly. No, there won't be a next time. At this moment, a system prompt suddenly sounded in Lin Xian's mind. Bite. Congratulations to their host for successfully eliminating violence and protecting the good, and I will give you a gift package as a reward. Do you want to open it now? Brutal and kind? R. By the way, I stopped Li Xian from selling drugs and indirectly saved many families. It was a pleasant surprise. Lin Xian said to the system in his mind. Open the gift package. Bite. Congratulations to their host for obtaining the skill, Empty Hands. Empty Hands, Grandmaster level skill, their host can take away any item from others without them knowing, without being discovered. This skill is interesting. Empty Hands. From now on, there will be nothing you can't steal. However, there is a code of conduct for thieves. Even if you are a thief, you must be a chivalrous thief. Lin Xian thought quietly. Then Lin Xian deliberately said to Li Xian. Boss Li, we're having a great conversation, do you want to change places and continue the conversation? Li Xian looked anxious. Brother, please stop making fun of me, har har har. Let's talk about it another day. Lin Xian laughed. He stepped forward to help Li Xian up, and at the same time activated the skill, Empty Hands. Har har, Brother Li, please get up soon. We'll leave first and get together again another day. With the support of Grandmaster level skills. Li Xian didn't feel that he was missing something at all. He stood up. Okay, come over when you're free, I'll treat you well. I have something else to do here, so I won't send you off. Lin Xian waved his hand. No, I'll definitely come next time. After saying that, he pulled Xian out. As soon as I went out, I saw the 6 people still lying on the ground. They were all the hooligans who were kicked away by Lin Xian just now. Lin Xian walked up to the man with the scar on his face. I reached into my inner pocket. It's their Empty Hands skill again. Something went into Lin Xian's sleeve. At this time, Li Xian's angry roar came from inside the bar. Close the door. Everyone gather. Who on earth is this? I won't be done until I find you out today. Lin Xian laughed and pulled Xian. Go. Li Xian was furious. It won't be long before the truth is revealed. If not, run away now. When? Lin Xian pulled Xian and jogged along. Xian couldn't help but ask nervously. Where are you taking me? Lin Xian shook the diamond-shaped car key in his other hand. This is a key shape unique to Lamborghini. Parking lot. After arriving at the parking lot, a golden Lamborghini came into view. There was only one Lamborghini in the entire parking lot, so it had to be this one. Lin Xian pressed the key. Beep. The car lights flashed. That's right. Lin Xian opened the car door and got in, greeting the stunned Xian. Get in the car. After helping Xian fasten her seatbelt, Lin Xian stepped on the accelerator. Boom. The unique airwave sound of a sports car was heard. The automatic headlights start scanning and adjust to the most appropriate angle. There was a loud roar. The performance beast rushes into the night. The parking lot is quiet again. Lamborghini driving at high speed on the road. Only then did Xian recover from her shock. She looked out the window at the unfamiliar scenery. My heart once again rose to my throat. Where are you taking me? Take you home. Lin Xian answered without turning his head. But this is not the way to my house. At a traffic light intersection, Xian stopped the car, opened the window and looked outside. She is sure. This is definitely not the way to her home. Hasn't our deal concluded? Xian timidly reminded Lin Xian. Mr. Lin, you should be a person with strong professional ethics, right? After hearing this, Lin Xian was really amused. Looking at her, he smiled. Don't worry, we'll be home soon. We're just taking a short detour. This is when the light just turned green. Lin Xian kicked the floor again. The roaring beast brought a violent push on the back. Let Shin Mengchan swallow the words that were stuck in her throat. What happened tonight made Shin Mengchan in a state of tension. At this time, Lin Xian was just concentrating on driving. It doesn't look like he's going to explain anything to himself. This made Shin Chuchan start to think wildly. Where is this person taking himself? He also knows the dark history that he doesn't want others to know. Will he use this to threaten me? Think of this. Shin Mengchan couldn't help but hold the seat belt tightly. If this man really used his dark history to threaten me. Let yourself. Forcing yourself to. What should I do? Chapter 8. The school beauty is shocked. She feels guilty. Boom. Lin Xian was driving Li Xingqian's Lamborghini on the road. Shin Chuchan, who was in the car, looked out the window at the increasingly old buildings and held onto her seat belt in fear. My heart was beating fast and I stared at the passing scenery without blinking. Shin Chuchan forced herself to remember the streets she passed through. It was as if Lin Xian next to him was some kind of monster, and once the car stopped, he would attack him. But this did not relieve Shin Chuchan's nervousness at all. I had so many terrible thoughts in my head. Lin Xian took her to an abandoned school and forced her, or he went to an abandoned factory and handed her over to human traffickers. Shin Chuchan was so frightened by her own wild imagination that her face turned pale and blue. I scared myself for a long time. Shin Chuchan decided to say something. Are you really sent by Zhao Jie? Are you really working for him? Lin Xian took the time to glance at Shin Chuchan, who was sitting in the passenger seat. Her fingers holding the seat belt turned white. I knew she was afraid. He smiled bitterly and shook his head. I think it would make her too nervous. What if she jumps out of the car? So we chatted. How is that possible? If that were true, would we still have to run? And he's not worthy of being my boss. I don't even know Zhao Jie. Shin Chuchan thought about it and agreed. He nodded in agreement. Then how did you know that Li Xingqian was selling drugs? And he acted so convincingly. I almost thought it was real. I often hear my elders talk about Zhao Jie, saying that he is not a good person. After hearing this, Lin Xian smiled slightly. Acting like that is a basic quality of my profession. If we are intelligence dealers, we would have died long ago if we didn't have some acting skills. Hearing the words, information merchant. Shin Chuchan suddenly thought of her secret and her face turned red. At the same time, I felt a little relieved. A sigh of relief. It turns out that he is not working for the bad guys. That's good. At least I won't be in any danger. But why did he accept that black money? That was all the dirty money that Li Xingqian earned from selling drugs. I don't know how many families he cheated. Thinking of this, she couldn't help but frowned. Original. Shin Chuchan still has a good impression of this classmate who helped him. Although he knew his secret, he didn't tell anyone else. It can be considered as professional ethics. But seeing that he could have just left, he still robbed his fellow thieves and accepted so much gold. Shin Chuchan felt inexplicably unhappy. Just feel. There is a sense of loss that is beyond words. Squeak. The sound of screeching brakes was heard. Shin Chuchan rushed forward due to inertia. The seatbelt snapped her back into the seat. She patted her chest and looked at Lin Xian with a hint of reproach. Lin Xian searched everywhere but found nothing. Then he turned around and looked at Shin Chuchan. Do you have any tissues? Eyebrow pencil, eyeliner, lipstick, anything. Shin Chuchan looked at Lin Xian in confusion. What's wrong? There are tissues and lipstick. After saying that, he handed it over. Lin Xian didn't say anything and just reached out to take it. He pulled out a tissue, twisted out the lipstick, and wrote on the paper. Donation from kind-hearted people. Seeing the 4 big characters, Shin Chuchan stretched her head to take a look curiously. Mr. Lin, what are you doing? Click. Lin Xian opened the car door and got out. He opened the black box, opened it, and placed the tissue paper with the words on it inside. Then he walked to a somewhat shabby iron gate and looked at it. The door is locked. So Lin Xian could only look around. While Lin Xian was looking around for something, Shin Chuchan also got out of the car. Looking at the dirty roads and old buildings in front of him, Shin Chuchan knew that they had come to the suburbs. Although it was an unfamiliar environment, Shin Chuchan felt a sense of familiarity. When I got closer to the gate, I looked up at the plaque on the gate which read, Donghai Children's Welfare Institute. I've been here before. Shin Chu-chan suddenly remembered that when she was in school, she participated in a charity event organized by the school. Just come here to bring the kids to play. We also donated some daily school supplies to them. The activity is organized by the school, and everyone can choose to go or not voluntarily. Many students thought it was dirty and tiring and did not go. In the end, only Shin Chu-chan and a dozen other classmates came with large and small bags of things. The director of the welfare home is a very nice old lady. She devoted her whole life to charity and was a very upright and poor person. At that time, the elderly director warmly invited them in and introduced them to everything about the welfare home. Wait, I seem to remember there was a boy at that time. Shin Mengchan looked at the figure in front of her. I recall that during that charity event, there was a handsome young man in a white shirt who was playing games with the children in the yard. I still have some impression of that handsome young man. That's right. No wonder I felt that Lin Xian looked familiar. Isn't he Lin Xian, that little brother? Oh my god. It turns out they have met before. It was just that Lin Xian was not talkative at that time, and they had only met once, so Shin Mengchan didn't pay much attention to him. Shin Chu-chan looked at Lin Xian in front of her with surprise. Trot forward. So it's you? We are really classmates. We came here together last year during an event organized by the school. Do you still remember me? Sorry, I just recognized you now. Shin Mengchan couldn't help but laugh when she thought that the little brother was her classmate. All tension disappeared instantly. But Lin Xian did not respond to her and walked around on his own for a long time. Suddenly, Lin Xian's eyes lit up and he walked to the right side of the door. Shin Chu-chan also followed curiously, and it turned out to be an old clothes collection box. Lin Xian picked up the box in his hand and threw it in without hesitation. Plop. The heavy box fell down. Shin Mengchan has only been here once. But Lin Xian comes here often. Although he was not well off financially before, he often brought things for the children. It's human nature. We all hope that these orphans can live a better life. Although the old lady is a good person, her financial situation is limited. With so many children, it is not easy to apply for funding. Now, this ill-gotten gains can be used just fine on the children. As the saying goes, take from the people and use it for the people. Afterwards, Lin Xian clapped his hands, a look of satisfaction on his face. Turning around, he saw Shin Chu-chan behind him. Let's go. Shin Chu-chan was stunned and didn't react. She felt that Lin Xian had really refreshed her cognition, making her a little confused. Isn't he a greedy person? He haggled over and over again when selling his information and even accepted bribes from Li Xingtian. However, he turned around and donated all that gold to the welfare home without hesitation. Still anonymous. No fame, no profit. This moment. Lin Xian's image became extremely tall in Shin Chu-chan's heart at this moment. When she reacted, she looked up. Lin Xian had already opened the car door and was about to get in. Hey! Wait for me. She quickly ran inside and got straight into the car. She doesn't feel nervous at all now. Even if Lin Xian took her to the edge of the sky, she would not be afraid. Student Lin, did you intend to donate the money from the beginning? She looked at Lin Xian with some guilt. She felt as if she had always been doubting him, questioning him. But the other party has the same opinion as himself. It also saved me. As he thought about it, Shin Chu-chan lowered his head and whispered. Sorry. Lin Xian smiled and touched Shin Chu-chan's head. Fasten your seatbelts. Boom. There was another roar of air, and the golden Lamborghini disappeared into the night. Chapter 9. The Little Emperor of East China Sea, Zhao. At this moment, Shin Mengchan was sitting in the same position, looking out the window calmly. There has been a huge change in mentality. Not long ago, he was nervously holding onto his seatbelt, but now he is looking around with relief. He turned his head and looked at the mysterious man next to him. Shin Chu-chan fell into deep thought. Only then did she realize that this man had never done anything bad from beginning to end. I had many prejudices against him because he knew my secret. Even if he did good things, I still thought he had ulterior motives. But now think about it. From the very beginning, when he told himself that when Lily wanted to kidnap him, chase away drunken hooligans, beat away the bad guys who kidnapped you, Stop bar owners from selling drugs. Donate gold bars to the children's welfare home. These are things that most people dare not and will not do. Even when he wanted to pay more later, I was the one who said I didn't want to pay, which annoyed him. Look at it this way. This classmate of mine is truly a hero who is loving, just, courageous and capable. What girl doesn't he have love in her heart? Every girl has a dream of being the fairy's Xia, hoping that her hero will come to pick her up wearing golden armor and riding on colorful clouds. In Shin Chu-chan's eyes at this moment, the dark night seemed to cover Lin Xian with a layer of golden light. I wonder if Lin would mind the fact that I'm a white tiger. This was what Shin Mengchan was thinking. Unexpectedly, I accidentally muttered it out loud. Hearing her own voice, Shin Chu-chan hurriedly covered her mouth and her face turned red. How could I say what I was thinking? This is too embarrassing. Lin Xian probably didn't hear it, right? But soon, seeing the smile on Lin Xian's face, Shin Mengchan felt so ashamed that she wanted to jump out of the car. The sound is not loud. But the car was so quiet and the two were so close, how could the other not hear it? Shin Chu-chan raised her hands and covered her face in annoyance, tears already streaming down her face. Lin Xian just smiled calmly and said softly, I don't hate it. On the contrary, I think it's quite convenient. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Shin Chu-chan looked at Lin Xian through the gaps between her fingertips. Seeing the smile on his face, she blushed and asked, What does Fang Fang mean? Lin Xian did not answer. Shin Mengchan didn't feel comfortable asking any more questions. But Lin Xian himself didn't know. I won't hate you, he said casually, was the affirmation that Shin Mengchan had been craving since her teenage years. He said he didn't hate it. He actually didn't hate it. He even said it was convenient. Although Shin Chu-chan didn't understand what Lin Xian meant by convenience, she felt it was not a bad thing. A warm feeling surged in my heart. This is the first time that someone has affirmed himself and affirmed what he feels is his most shameful dark history. She looked at Lin Xian with hazy eyes, mustering up the courage to ask, You really don't find me disgusting? Squeak. Lin Xian slammed the brakes and stopped the car on the side of the road. He turned around and looked at Shin Mengchan beside him. Do you need me to prove it to you? 2 hours later, the roaring Lamborghini stopped outside the gate of Shin Chu-chan's villa. During these 2 hours, some very interesting things happened. When Shin Mengchan got off the car, the way he walks is a little strange. It seems. Lin Xian proved his words with practical actions. Shin Chu-chan closed the car door, walked around to the driver's window, smiled and waved. Thank you, Lin Xian, for sending me home. Be careful when you go back. After saying that, Shin Mengchan turned and walked towards the door of her house. Wait a minute, this is for you. Hearing Lin Xian calling her, Shin Chu-chan turned around curiously. What? As soon as he finished speaking, he saw Lin Xian handing over something pink. Shin Mengchan reached out and took a look. It turned out to be my own cell phone. It was clearly snatched away by that gangster just now. How did Lin Xian steal it? Great. You actually helped me get my phone back. I had almost forgotten about it. It turned out that when Lin Xian came out, he passed by Scarface and used his skill of empty hand to take the item back from him. Lin Xian smiled slightly. How are you going to pay me if I don't give you my phone back? After saying that, Lin Xian took out his mobile phone, opened the app, and handed over his payment code. Shin Mengchan burst out laughing. You have a real work ethic. After that, I scanned the code and paid. It's over. I'm also a trusted person. It's been a pleasure working with you. After watching Shin Chu-chan walk into the gate, Lin Xian stepped on the accelerator and left. Thought about it. It is really unsafe to drive such a flashy car on city streets full of cameras. Lin Xian probably realized something was wrong at this moment. So we took a remote road and drove towards our hometown, Qinghe County. At this moment, Lin Xian was sitting on the chair where Lin Xian had sat before, looking at his subordinates kneeling on the ground at his feet, and questioned them one by one. Make sure these people are okay and that no one will betray you. Lin Xian himself felt that the problem was not with him. These people have been with me for several years and they should not betray me. The problem must be with that kid. At this time, a younger brother who was watching the surveillance came running over in a panic. Boss, something bad has happened. Li Xian scolded. You're the one in trouble. Just tell me what's going on. The younger brother swallowed his saliva. Boss, the golden Lamborghini you just brought back is gone. Tang. Li Xian jumped up directly from the stool. Who drove it away? It's the young man just now. Li Xian could no longer bear it. He took out his cell phone and called Mr. Zhao. Beep. 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 The phone rang 3 times before being picked up. A deep voice came from the phone. Explain. Hearing the call being picked up, Li Xian quickly said in a flattering manner. Master Zhao, it's me, Li Xian. The person you sent just left, and he seems to have forgotten something here. Would you like to ask him to come back and get it? Li Xian said this on purpose. The purpose is to get Mr. Zhao to tell me whether he has sent anyone over. There was a pause. A puzzled voice came from the other end of the phone. The people I sent. Who did I send? A drop of cold sweat rolled down Li Xian's forehead, and he continued to speak. That boy looks young and handsome, and seems to have just graduated. He said you sent him. There was a pause on the other end of the phone. Li Xian, there is no one like you described around me. Are you being teased by others? Hearing this, Li Xian finally understood. I really was fooled by a young man in his early 20s. He cried out in tears. Master Zhao. Master Zhao, you have to make the decision for me. That person said he was doing something for you, so I dared not disobey him. He used your name to defraud me, but who knows if he has cheated others. On the other end of the phone, Zhao Yingjie was a little impatient. Stop yelling. Come over tomorrow and talk things out. Click. After saying that, the person on the other end hung up the phone. Li Xian put down his phone and gritted his teeth. How dare you impersonate Mr. Zhao's name? You are done. Chapter 10: The Dark History of Famous Players. Just as Shen Chuchan stepped into their house, Lin Xian, who was driving, suddenly heard the system's voice in his mind. Bite. Congratulations to their host for successfully helping others through his dark history. A system reward package, do you want to open it now? The big gift package that I had been waiting for all night finally arrived. It seemed that Shen Chuchan had arrived home safely. Lin Xian lamented how busy he had been that night. He said to the system directly in his mind. Open it directly. Ding, open the system gift package. Congratulations to their host for obtaining a Black History System upgrade card. Upgrade card? Can the Black History System be continuously upgraded? Squeak. Lin Xian parked the car on the side of the road. Cherish life. He needs to concentrate on studying this reward from the system. Originally, Lin Xian thought that the system was going to reward him with some skills. After all, whether it is the Grandmaster level Sonder or the Liangshangji skills, they are both very powerful and practical. I didn't expect the system to not follow the routine this time. Use the Black History System upgrade card. Ding, the system upgrade card has been used successfully. The system is being upgraded. Please wait. It seems that it will take some time to upgrade the system. Boom. Lin Xian started the car, stepped on the accelerator, and drove towards home. 10 minutes later. The Lamborghini stopped steadily in front of the old gate of his house. At this time, Lin Xian heard a system prompt in his mind. Ding, congratulations on the successful host system upgrade. System added, phone number display function. Phone number display function, when the host views other people's Black history, the phone number will be displayed. It shows the phone number, which is a good feature. It turns out that my system is just a simple version. You need to upgrade yourself to display more information. No wonder there were only names and ages at the beginning. Although phone numbers aren't as practical as some actual skills, it's okay. Lin Xian got out of the car in a happy mood. I opened the door and saw my dad waiting to watch football. Mr. Lin is so old, and this is his only hobby. Dad, I'm back. Where's my mom? In front of the TV, Dad Lin was holding a palm leaf fan in his hand, wearing a white vest and shorts. His attention was all on the TV. Your mom is resting now. I'm watching the game here secretly. Today is Sumero's retirement game. We can't miss it no matter what. So that's why. No wonder my father is still watching TV so late. Sumero is his father's favorite football player. This guy is very famous in the football world. Even Lin Xian, who was not interested in football, often heard this person's name. Samero, professional football player. He has won numerous awards during his career. He has won many awards, including Footballer of the Year and Ballon d'Or. However, time is merciless. No matter how outstanding you are, you will have to retire when you get older. Dad, which team is Samero playing against tonight? Vanilla, the bottom team in the league, no suspense. This game is just to let Samero retire without any regrets. Yeah. Lin Xian didn't care. He didn't know anything about football, so he just let it go. Sudden. Dad grabbed Lin Xian and handed him a few lottery tickets mysteriously. Raised the index finger to Lin Xian. Sure. Don't tell your mom, I bought it with the money in the cashier drawer to earn some pocket money. Hee hee. Lin Xian looked down. It's 5 football lottery tickets. All the bets were on the Yellow Lions team, where Samero was, to win, with a total amount of 1,000 yuan. If the Yellow Lions team really wins, they can cash out for 1,400 yuan in prize money, which is equivalent to earning 400 yuan. Lin Xian smiled bitterly, knowing that if his mother found out, he would definitely be beaten on the washboard. Dad, you're not trustworthy, are you? If I lose, I won't beg for mercy for you. Football matches are ever changing. You can't just rely on past results to predict that the strong team will win. Maybe no one will score or it will be a draw. Father Lin rolled his eyes at his son and said confidently. What do you know, kid? This is Simeone's retirement match. How can you lose in a retirement match? Don't you care about your dignity? Besides, we're competing against such a weak team, so there will definitely be no problem. It's just like that game you guys play called Glory. The highest ranked player fights the lowest ranked player. How can they lose? After saying that, he touched the lottery ticket, put it in his pocket with a smile, and buttoned it up. 1,000 yuan is a lot in the eyes of my parents. This is already a week's income for their convenience store. If my mom knew about this, she would be beaten to death by the washboard. However, Lin Xian at this time had a huge sum of 500,000 yuan in his balance. If my parents knew about this, they would be terrified. It's about whether the father kneels on the washboard. Lin Xian shook his head and started watching TV with his father. The TV was showing a host interviewing Samero. Lin Xian felt a little emotional when he looked at the no longer young Zameluo in the picture. Such a great player retired. The level of the Yellow Lions team has definitely dropped more than a little bit. As I was thinking about it, I had been watching for a long time without realizing it. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. Bite. A transparent box suddenly popped up. Various information about Zameluo is displayed above. What the hell? Is this possible? When you look at people on TV, their dark history can also be revealed. Lin Xian widened his eyes. This is so unexpected. But think back carefully. It seems that the system description does not mention that you must look at real-life people. Stare at someone for 3 seconds and you will get information about that person and the dark history that he or she doesn't want others to know. It seems that I underestimated the system. So can I use photos and videos? I'll have to try it out if I get a chance. After making up his mind, Lin Xian started to read Zamero's information. Name, Zameluo. Age, 31. Telephone, 001XXXXXXXXXX. The biggest black history. As a professional football player, Samero has always been the pride of his family, country, and fans since he was a child. But in the last game of his life, he did not stick to the bottom line. Under the temptation of $1 billion from a gambling company, he agreed to play a fixed match and make the Yellow Lions lose. Lin Xian sighed. It is said to be a retirement exhibition match, but it seems to be a fake match to make money. Lin Xian turned around and looked at his excited father. What a big leak! He was also happily waiting for his idol to help him win some pocket money. Little did they know. They took money from the betting company and were planning to fix the match and lose it. Why? Lin Xian couldn't help but shook his head. Samero, who has adhered to his bottom line all his life, couldn't resist the temptation in the end. Actually, if you think about it, you can understand it. Retired players will simply be gradually forgotten by people and their income will plummet. But life must go on, and there is a wife and children to support. I guess Samaro is also thinking about making the last profit. Faced with so much money, few people would not be tempted, right? Lin Xian thought about it. Why don't I take this opportunity to earn some money for my parents' retirement? Dad, is the lottery station still open? Can I still print tickets? Father Lin watched the TV without turning his head. Today is Saturday, the sales suspension time has been extended, it should be more than half an hour. Lin Xian quickly ran to drive the car. Went to a lottery station in town. Boom! The sound of the Lamborghini's engine attracted the attention of everyone in the store. After all, there has never been such a luxury car in the town. Lin Xian ignored everyone's gazes and looked at the time. Fortunately, there are still 20 minutes. So I walked into the store and saw the boss at the counter. Boss, can I still buy football now? The boss also saw Lin Xian's car and thought it was some rich young man passing by and bought some footballs to play with. Sure, little brother, you are here to bet on the Yellow Lion to win, right? How much do you want to bet on? Everyone who came here tonight bet on the Yellow Lions to win. They will score at least 5 goals against Vanera. This game is simply giving away money. Buy more, bro. However, Lin Xian smiled and shook his head. No, I'm just here to bet on Vanella to win. Chapter 11 Lamborghini? Not as good as Havel H6. As soon as Lin Xian finished speaking, the smoky lottery station suddenly fell silent. There are many fans waiting to watch the game. Lin Xian's words really scared them. But then it became lively. Everyone was discussing this, and a few kind-hearted uncles even advised Lin Xian. Little brother, you may not know that this is Samaro's retirement match. It is a performance match. The Yellow Lions are basically sure to win. Yes, little brother, buy the Yellow Lions and earn some pocket money. I'm not lying to you. We have been watching football for more than 20 years and have watched Samaro grow up little by little. There is nothing wrong with this guy. That's right. The bookmakers are not stupid. They dare to give Van Eller such high odds because they know it's impossible for Van Eller to win. Little brother, there's no way this will be an upset. If I lose, I'll eat this table. Lin Xian didn't say anything and didn't refute. Turned around and knocked on the boss's desk. Boss, I just want to buy Vanera. Please hurry up and get the ticket. If the deadline comes, you won't be able to get it. The boss was somewhat shocked by Lin Xian's persistence. But looking at the luxury cars outside the door, maybe it's just that the rich are bored. The boss was smoking a cigarette and tapping the machine. Okay, then Vanilla. Tell me, how much do you want? Lin Xian did not hesitate. 500,000. The boss almost suspected that he was hallucinating. He stood there in a daze, and the cigarette in his mouth fell to the ground. The noisy lottery shop fell silent again. Everyone opened their mouths wide. 500,000. In this unknown little county, many families cannot earn 500,000 yuan in their entire life. That night, Lin Xian made all the lottery players in the station remember him. The boss voice trembled a little, wondering if he had heard it wrongly. How many? 500,000. Hurry up and fight. It will be too late soon. Lin Xian felt completely helpless. The boss was then sure that Lin Xian was not joking and hurriedly started to operate. While busy, complaining. Little brother, there are only 10 minutes left. The maximum bet per ticket is 100 times the amount, which is only 200 yuan, so you definitely can't finish it. If you want to play so much again in the future, come to me earlier. Call me in advance and I'll book the whole place for you. After listening to the boss's words, Lin Xian nodded. Okay, I'll take as many as I can. The lottery station's income does not come from a share of the winnings, but rather a fixed share of 7% of the amount that lottery players purchase lottery tickets. Therefore, when the owner of the lottery station saw Lin Xian's generous investment, he felt extremely regretful. The share of the 500,000 yuan was 35,000 yuan, which was almost as much as his 2 months' income. At this moment, the lottery station owner wished he could grow a few more hands so he could do the operations. Seeing Lin Xian's determination, other lottery players also shook their heads. This kid is going to cry miserably now. That's right, you're still young and don't listen to advice. How could he lose in his retirement match? Doesn't the club have any dignity? How could the investors behind it allow this? The boy was being impulsive. $500,000 wasted, Maybe this is what the legendary rich second generation is like. People don't care. No one in the entire lottery station was optimistic about Lin Xian, and Lin Xian just calmly watched the boss buy lottery tickets. The time came to 11:30. The lottery system is closed. The boss shook his sore wrist. Hey little brother, that's all I can type out. The boss sighed and handed the ticket to Lin Xian, looking at him with some pain. I tried my best. This is 60,000 yuan, more than 300 tickets. Next time if you need so many, be sure to tell me in advance. At this time, an old man at the back looked at the odds table and calculated on his own. With such high odds, if the bet is successful, the 60,000 will become 300,000 in an instant. After saying that, he smacked his lips. Others shook their heads and sighed, as if Lin Xian was a prodigal son. The boss looked at the luxury car outside the door and asked curiously, "Little brother, is the car at the door yours? This Lamborghini is very cool." "Yeah, it's okay," Lin Xian said lightly. The boss looked envious. "I'm really envious. To be honest, I've only seen this car on TV. Today I've really opened my eyes." Lin Xian packed his lottery ticket and walked out of the lottery station. Boom! With a step on the accelerator, the car rushed home like a beast. When the people at the lottery station saw Lin Xian leave, they dared to open their voices and discuss loudly. Maybe they just have a lot of money, they are just playing around. Can 300,000 yuan buy a tire for this car? Let's not worry about other people's business. Even if they lost 300,000 yuan, they are still better off than us. No matter how much I persuade him, he won't listen. I guess he stole the money from home to have fun. Luckily, I only bet 60,000 yuan because I didn't have enough time. But even if I lost everything, I guess my family wouldn't care too much. The young man is still too impatient. Exactly. Har har har, this makes me laugh to death. He's obviously a rookie who wants to bet on an upset. But is it so easy to make money? Buzz. The sound of the sports car can be heard from quite a distance. Lin Xian parked the car in the yard, walked back home, and waited for the football game to start with his father. Father Lin frowned and looked at his son who came in. "What kind of crappy car are you driving? Who borrowed it from? I heard the noise from a long way off. Is it low on oil? Please add some so that the car doesn't break down." Listening to his father's kind nagging, Lin Xian felt warm in his heart. "I know, Dad. Don't worry." Father Lin lit a cigarette and continued. "Let me tell you, look at how cool your second uncle's Harvard H6 is. It has a high chassis, a big car, and can be loaded with things." After saying this, he glanced disdainfully at Lin Xian's car parked outside. "Look at the car you drove back here. The chassis is so low that if the road is not good, the chassis will be broken into pieces. It's impossible to install it. There are only 2 doors and it can only accommodate 2 people. It's too impractical." After saying that, he shook his head. Keep praising the advantages of Havel H6. Lin Xian could only smile bitterly. Father Lin leaned close to Lin Xian's ear again in a mysterious tone. "Your mother and I are saving money to buy you a Harvard H6. You've graduated, so it's time to find someone to marry. It's so cool to drive a big H6. All the girls in the village like this car. Your mother didn't let me tell you because she was afraid you would become arrogant. You better not tell anyone." Puff. Lin Xian spat out a mouthful of water. Are you feeling inflated by the thought of buying a domestic Havel H6 car worth hundreds of thousands of yuan? But for parents, this is the limit of what they can do. Lin Xian was very touched. In this life, although Lin Xian's parents did not have much money, they gave him warmth and love which were more important than money. They would rather suffer themselves than let Lin Xian suffer in the slightest. Lin Xian has always been very sensible. When he was in college, he used his vacations to work and study, and never asked his family for money. After making money this time, I came back to visit the 2 old people as soon as possible. Seeing his father's face full of wrinkles but showing a happy smile, Lin Xian also smiled. "Har har, Dad, you don't have to worry about me. I can make money on my own. Use that money to buy yourself a car, and don't drive that tractor of yours anymore." When Father Lin heard his son talking about his tractor, he immediately frowned and proudly boasted about his tractor. "What's wrong with my tractor? I tell you my tractor is in great shape. It can haul goods and people. Every Saturday, I take your mother to the market. Looking at his father's proud expression, Lin Xian could only shake his head and smile without saying anything more. People of the older generation tend to be stubborn and nostalgic. If you say their stuff is not good, they will definitely argue with you for a long time. Just then the game started, so Lin's father stopped talking and the father and son started watching TV seriously. Samaro takes the lead. Chapter 12. Another 300,000 is obtained. On TV, the game has begun. The two commentators were also excitedly analyzing. Look, the Yellow Lions player passed the ball to Samaro. Then let's wait for Samaro to make a good start and dribble the ball all the way. Breakthrough. Nice shot. Huh? This. A slap in the face always comes unexpectedly. The commentator's high spirits instantly wilted like an eggplant hit by frost. In the replay on TV, Samaro took a powerful shot, but the ball went wide. Why is it off? What a pity. But it doesn't matter. At present, the Yellow Lions are still suppressing Vanera, and the ball is in Vanera's half the whole time. Yeah, it's already at the goal. How far can the goal be? The two commentators kept cheering them on, treating it as just an unexpected incident. Father Lin also waved his palm leaf fan and said nonchalantly, "It's just a small mistake. The Yellow Lions have been pressing on Vanera's goal. Samaro is just still adapting to the game. He will be fine in a while." Lin Xian smiled helplessly. To an outsider like him, the ball seemed a little off target. With this distance and angle, even if the players from the school team were here, they wouldn't make such a big mistake. At this time, the commentary on TV continued. Okay, beautiful, the Yellow Lions intercepted Vanera's ball, passed it and then passed it to Samaro. What? What happened? Samaro didn't even see the ball. Samaro ran too far. The ball was intercepted by Vanera. The ball has now reached the door of the Yellow Lions. The Yellow Lions have only one goalkeeper. Shoot, it's in. Vanella shot it. Anyway. Let's congratulate Vanella for getting the first point. She's taking the lead for now. The Yellow Lions players all went to attack, leaving only one goalkeeper to guard. How can they defend against the aggressive Vanera? So I say, the Yellow Lions should change their tactics. Let's wait and see how the Yellow Lion will fight back. On the other side of the TV, Lin's father was furious. He stood up directly from the stool and fanned himself wildly. Do you think that Samaro's teammate is stupid? Samaro didn't even notice and passed the ball there. Isn't that intentional? I'm so pissed off. Lin Xian found it a little funny when he saw his father's angry expression. Samaro's mistake was so obvious that it was obvious he was acting. Only these fans would believe that he didn't see the pass, right? Maybe Samaro just firmly believes that fans will stand on his side no matter what. That's probably why they chose to resort to match fixing. After all, he has built up a reputation over 20 years, and it is impossible for it to collapse because of this game. What's more, this is a retirement match. Whether the performance is good or not, it can be considered a complete career. Don't worry, Samaro is so strong. It's just 1 point. It won't have much impact. Samaro will definitely be the winner in the end. Dad Lin had no doubt that Samaro would win. I don't know whether he was comforting Lin Xian or comforting himself. After all, he spent a lot of money. Lin Xian looked at his father, who was sitting upright like a primary school student in class. I don't know what to say. I had no choice but to continue watching with him. The following games were still the same. It is obvious that this exhibition match was held for Samaro's retirement. Whenever the Yellow Lions touched the ball, they passed it to Samaro, but Samaro seemed to be in really bad shape today. After halftime, the Yellow Lions were once again caught by Vanera, breaking the deadlock and scoring another point. The score has reached 0-2. The situation was out of control for a while. The fans in the stands were shouting their idols' names desperately, cheering for them. Come on, Samaro. Samaro, you are the best. We will always support you, Samaro. Father Lin took out the 5 lottery tickets from his pocket, sighed, and looked at the encouragement from the audience. Oh, I really didn't expect that. Samaro is really old. His physical strength and endurance can't keep up. It's time for him to retire. And why are the Yellow Lions so listless today? They seem to be taking a walk. Could it be that Samaro alone can influence the morale of the entire team? Isn't that the end of the Yellow Lions? Dad Lin was sighing and talking to himself. When Lin Xian looked at the people in the stands, it was as if he was seeing a field of green leeks. Gambling companies are not charities. Can ordinary fans make money? So many people around the world are trying to make some pocket money, but gambling companies are not fools. How could they give you money for free? The bookmakers must have paid the Yellow Lions players a lot of money. After this game, excluding a few people like Lin Xian who bought Vanera, a big underdog, and deducting the money given to Messi, Ronaldo and the players, the bookmakers can make at least tens of billions of US dollars. In the second half of the game, Vanera changed its tactics and basically stopped attacking. Instead, it focused on defense and made it impossible for the Yellow Lions to break through. At this time, Samaro seemed to have just adjusted his state and showed his usual style. At the last moment, he dribbled past 3 enemies and shot from long distance and it went in. Father Lin jumped up and clapped his hands. Well done to Samaro, you are worthy of being Samaro. There were also crazy cheers coming from the stands. They were all Samaro's fans. When they saw him score the winning goal at the last minute, they cheered and shouted so much that they wanted to blow up the stadium. The final score of Yellow Lions, Vanera, was 1-2, a narrow defeat. But in the eyes of the audience, Samaro did not lose. The last ball. Honor in defeat. A legendary football king, retired perfectly. After the carnival, Father Lin looked at the lottery ticket in his hand, which was already a piece of waste paper, and sighed. Hey, your mother will probably beat me to death tomorrow, and I'll definitely get a beating on the washboard, so remember to plead for me, hey. Puff. Lin Xian couldn't help but laugh when he saw his father's expression. He took out a stack of football lottery tickets from his pocket and handed them to his father. Dad, if I give you these, Mom won't punish you. This is a lottery ticket worth more than 60,000 yuan. I bought it all for Vanera to win. I calculated that it can be redeemed for 300,000 yuan. You can buy a Havel H6 and fix up the house. That's enough money. Father Lin's face was filled with shock, and he looked at the lottery ticket in disbelief. In fact, Lin Xian originally planned to go home and give some money to his parents. However, they are no longer under such great pressure and work so hard. But that's not necessary now. Let your father cash the lottery ticket himself, so he doesn't have to doubt where his money comes from. The residents of the small town had never seen much money in their lives. Lin Xian, a recent college graduate, was afraid of scaring his parents by giving them too much money. Seeing that the lottery tickets in his hands were all bought for Vaneller's winnings, Father Lin opened his mouth and said a word after a long time. The baby has made progress and can make money now. As he spoke, he smiled with relief. Lin Xian patted his father on the shoulder and said, But Dad, don't buy lottery tickets anymore. They are not good things. Father Lin smiled happily. Okay, Dad won't buy any more in the future. I'll save this money and it will be enough to buy you a car and marry you a wife. Lin Xian looked at his stubborn father helplessly, and he couldn't tell them that he still had hundreds of thousands of dollars. I can only say, that money is for you to spend. No need to save it. I still have it, and I can still earn more. After hearing what Lin Xian said, Lin's father just waved his hand perfunctorily. All right, go to bed now, little brat. Lin Xian knew that according to his parents' character, they would definitely save all the money, so he could only say helplessly, I know. You should go to bed as well. It's very late. After that, the father and son went back to their rooms to sleep. Chapter 13. Mr. Zhao, you are going to have a brother-in-law. At the same time, in the town lottery station, people who had watched the game together were talking about it. What the hell? Vanilla actually won. What's going on? A big upset. Hey, do you remember that guy? The one driving the Lamborghini just now. This time, I'm going to make a fortune. 300,000. No, when I first came to buy the lottery, I was determined to buy 500,000. If all the numbers come out, how much money will I make? Yes, that boy looks so confident, he must be here to gamble or to make money. Oh, I just wanted to buy some from him. The person next to him pushed the person who just spoke. Stop talking now. You were the one who was jealous of me before. At this time, the shop owner just watched the people in the store discuss quietly. Bite. Suddenly, a WeChat message alert sounded. I opened it and saw that it was my store's lottery group. Someone forwarded a message. I lost a gold Lamborghini today. If anyone sees it and provides information, there will be a reward of 100,000 yuan. There will be a generous reward for reporting the car thief. Contact, Lin Xian contact number, XXXXXXXXXXX. 100,000. Just provide a piece of information. This is the car that the kid just drove. Gold and blue bikini probably rare in the entire Donghai city. But the lottery shop owner pondered. The young man just now confidently predicted the result of the football lottery. There must be a lot of power behind him. 100,000 yuan or offending a big shot. Forget it. He gritted his teeth, cleared the messages and turned off his phone. Cleared. Come back tomorrow. The next day, Lin Xian slept until noon before getting up, and his father went to redeem the lottery ticket early in the morning. Lin Xian, watching the local midday news. This morning, a car accident occurred on Fumin Road. The victim was a female college student. She was seriously injured and is currently receiving treatment in the ICU. The vehicle involved in the accident was a shabby van without a license plate. It is currently on the run. We hope that any enthusiastic citizens who saw it will actively report it. Our reporters will continue to pay attention to and report for you. When he heard that something happened to the female college student, Lin Xian looked up and saw the person in the picture. Although her face was blurred, the clothes clearly belonged to Wang Lili. Since it is Wang Lili, it must be the Shen family who took action. Although the Shen family is not as powerful as the Zhao family, it is also one of the largest families in Donghai city. An ordinary college student planned to kidnap Shen Menchan. How could she be forgiven? It seems that Wang Lili's good days are over. If you don't commit suicide, you won't die. This person doesn't deserve sympathy. Lin Xian continued to eat and then watched the local news. MX Fashion's new product launch will be postponed. According to reports, the company's president, Ms. Zhao Yingjun, was involved in tax evasion and tax avoidance, which hindered the company's listing and affected the holding of the new product launch conference. To this end, MX President Ms. Zhao Yingjun held a press conference this morning. The following is the specific content of the press conference. At this moment, the scene changed and a beautiful woman appeared. At the same time, a cold female voice came through the TV. Previously, our company was disturbed by false public opinion, which caused a series of our processes to lag behind. For the losses caused by this, our company will reserve the right to sue the rumormongers and seek compensation after accounting. The internet is not a lawless place. Please do not follow the trend and spread rumors. If you have evidence, you can report it to the relevant departments. Accompanied by the TV station's narration. The TV screen was still showing the scene of MX Fashion Company's press conference held in the morning. Lin Xian looked at Zhao Yingjun on TV. Zhao Yingjun. Zhao Yingjie. The names are so similar. Could it be Zhao Yingjie's sister? Shen Chuchan is one of the most beautiful women in Donghai city. She is gentle, virtuous, and a lady from a noble family. Then Zhao Yingjun is not inferior to Shen Chuchan at all, but Zhao Yingjun's beauty is like a thorny rose, beautiful but covered with thorns. With long straight black hair, exquisite makeup, and a well-fitting suit, she looks capable and beautiful. It's eye-catching, yet out of reach. Lin Xian looked at this aloof woman who remained calm in the face of reporters on TV. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. Bite. The transparent frame appeared in front of Lin Xian's eyes again. It was filled with information about Zhao Yingjun's dark history. I swear to God, I didn't take the initiative to look at it this time. Lin Xian rubbed his eyes. There is no way. If you stare at someone for 3 seconds, the black history information will pop up automatically. This is not something Lin Xian can control. Forget it, since I've seen it, I might as well take a look at it. Lin Xian began to read the words in front of him. Name, Zhao Yingjun. Age, 25. Mobile phone number, XXXXXXXXXXX. Such a young president is really amazing. No wonder she looks like a strong woman. Oh my God, why does she have such a long dark history? Zhao Yingjun's dark history is written all over the transparent frame. I've checked out the dark histories of so many people, and Zhao Yingjun's is the longest and most detailed. It seems that there is indeed something unspeakable. The biggest dark history: when Zhao Yingjun was just born, her grandfather arranged a marriage for her. The man was the grandson of Zhao Yingjuan's grandfather's comrade in arms, and also the grandson of the future successor of the Lei family, who was very influential in politics and business, Lei Halong. As a woman of the new era, Zhao Yingjun particularly disliked this kind of child marriage, believing that it was a relic of feudal society, and proposed to cancel the engagement several times. But the family believed that this was a happy event between two well-matched families and refused to cancel the engagement. Only her younger brother Zhao Yingjie, the future successor of the family, always supported her sister and hoped that she would be happy. Zhao Yingjun has always been a pure, independent and strong woman. She has always been the best among her peers in terms of appearance, family background and ability. If people knew that she had a childhood marriage, she would definitely be ridiculed. This is something she cannot accept with her strong self-esteem. Therefore, she made a 3-year agreement with her family that as long as she listed her company within 3 years, her family would agree to let her break off the engagement. Is there such a thing as child marriage in modern society? These big families are too stubborn. Not to mention that the strong woman Zhao Yingjun couldn't accept it, any ordinary person wouldn't be able to accept it either. It's called a child marriage, but isn't it just a commercial arranged marriage? Lin Xian smiled helplessly. Lin Xian turned his head and looked at the assistant next to Zhao Yingjun on TV. Although she is not as pretty as Zhao Yingjun, she is still a little beauty in the crowd. Bite. If you watch it for a long time, the Black History panel will pop up directly. A smile appeared on Lin Xian's face. Har har, I see. I just don't know how to deal with Zhao Yingjie. It's like someone gives you a pillow when you're sleepy. After all, in modern society, there are surveillance cameras everywhere, and it is only a matter of time before Li Xian finds me. This time, we can bypass Li Xian and deal with his master Zhao Yingjie. Lin Xian stood up and stretched. Master Zhao. You'll soon have a brother-in-law tilde. Chapter 14. Your circle is so chaotic. Although Lin Xian has no way to deal with Master Zhao for the time being. However, seeing Zhao Yingjuan's dark history at this time undoubtedly provided great help to Lin Xian. Things like child marriage. Now it only appears in places that are feudal, backward and have stubborn ideas, right? No wonder, Zhao Yingjun is such a desperate and strong-willed woman, but if she can't even have autonomy in her marriage, it is absolutely unbearable for her. It would be better if the system was smarter so that the dark history could be more comprehensive. But there is no rush, after all, the system can be upgraded now. Lin Xian read Zhao Yingjuan's dark history again. Zhao Yingjun regards her childhood marriage as her biggest dark history. It seems that this strong woman is really very strong. It's really not easy for girls from big families. They can't even decide their own marriages. But this is not a bad thing for yourself. This dark history can be used to your advantage. Lin Xian already had a plan in mind. Once I become Mr. Zhao's brother-in-law, Mr. Zhao will no longer be able to do anything to me. After all, the brother-in-law is in his brother-in-law's place, so isn't it natural for him to mention his brother-in-law? Not to mention Li Xian, that guy who takes advantage of his master's power. Perfect. Let the plan begin. Lin Xian opened his phone and searched for the keywords Zhao Yingjun, MX Company, Female President Zhao Yingjun. The following is a flood of negative news. Zhao Yingjun bullies others by taking advantage of his power. MX Company is being investigated for tax evasion and tax avoidance. Several properties under the name of female CEO Zhao Yingjun were seized. The specific reason is unknown. There is absolutely no positive news on the internet. It's obvious at first glance that it was maliciously slandered. No wonder. No wonder Zhao Yingjun said in the report that he would take legal action. This is clearly unfair competition. But Lin Xian could understand it. There are very few big companies in the market that are completely clean, not to mention that Zhao Yingjun has the support of the Zhao family behind him. Logically speaking, even if she didn't use the Zhao family's resources, others would give her some face just because of the surname Zhao. But the current situation is, even in this situation, there are still situations where people are smearing and spreading rumors and cannot control public opinion. So, there are only two possibilities. This is either her family trying to force her into submission or suppress her company. Or maybe some other big boss is targeting her, and maybe the final target is not her, but the Zhao family behind her. Maybe it's because Zhao Yingjuan's company has been developing too fast recently and he was the first to be hit. But no matter what the situation is, it is a good thing for Lin Xian. This created opportunities for Lin Xian to get close to Zhao Yingjun. As for the infighting among the big guys behind the scenes, Lin Xian is not afraid. He is a person with a black history system. What I am least afraid of are these powerful bosses. At this time, Zhao Yingjuan's assistant appeared on the TV screen, probably reading the lawyer's letter. Lin Xian stared at the young assistant. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. Byte. Transparent message box pop up. Name, Li Jing. Age, 24. Mobile phone number, XXXXXXXXXXX. The biggest dark history, Li Jing is Lei Haolong's secret lover, and she obeys Lei Haolong's every word. This time, Lei Haolong also went through many twists and turns and used various means to send Li Jing to Zhao Yingjun. Huh? Lei Haolong's mistress? This name is so familiar. Lin Xian suddenly reacted. Lei Haolong. Isn't he the child marriage mentioned in Zhao Yingjuan's dark history? TSK, your circle is so messed up. It's ridiculous to let your lover spy on your childhood marriage partner. If the strong woman Zhao Yingjun knew that there was such a person around her, she would probably be so disgusted that she would vomit out the food she had eaten the previous night. Although Lin Xian did not agree with Lei Haolong's approach, he could still understand his thoughts. Zhao Yingjun is a great beauty and one of the best in Donghai City. Even if there was no Zhao family behind him, no one would let go if they had the chance to marry such a beauty. But in modern society, we should still promote free love. DD. A message from a group adding myself came through my phone. When I opened my phone, I saw a group of my college classmates. Squad leader Wang Chao at everyone, picture. Squad leader Wang Chao, has anyone seen this car in Donghai City or in the towns near Donghai City? This is my eldest brother's car. I don't know which bastard stole it yesterday. Squad leader Wang Chao, if anyone sees this, send me a private message. My brother will reward you handsomely. Seeing the squad leader's lackey-like appearance, Lin Xian felt a little disdainful. When he was in school, this class monitor was a nice person. He often helped his classmates and had a good reputation. Unexpectedly, as soon as he entered society, he started hanging out with Li Xian and his gang. This is a wrong path. Lin Xian thought about it for a moment. Li Xian should be finding me soon. This Lamborghini is so high profile. There are surveillance cameras everywhere on the road and in the shops near the road. It is very easy for Li Xian to find me since he has Mr. Zhao behind him. There is no need to hide it anymore. Who knows, Li Xian might be on his way here at this moment. Besides, I have already thought of a solution. Think of this. Lin Xian turned on the camera function on his phone and pointed it at the car in the yard. Click. I took a photo and posted it in the group. Lin Xian, squad leader, are you talking about this car? Lin Xian, but why can't I remember when I accepted you as my little brother? After sending it, the class group was in chaos. Lin Xian smiled and exited WeChat. Then opened the phone dialer page. Lin Xian recalled the cell phone number of Zhao Yingjun that the system had just displayed and called it directly. Beep. 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 At this time, Zhao Yingjun was rubbing his eyebrows tiredly. She and her assistant had just finished talking with the lawyer and were resting in the lounge. Assistant Li Jing handed over a cup of warm water, then walked behind Zhao Yingjun and rubbed her sore shoulders. Zhao Yingjun took a sip of water and said irritably, Xiao Jing, what's wrong with us recently? Everything is going wrong, eh? Every time we make a decision, the other party is one step ahead, as if they know us well. Li Jing thought for a moment and then spoke tentatively. Mr. Zhao, do you think we are developing too fast? Do you think we should not rush to go public, but take steady steps first and hold a good new product launch conference? Hey, I can't slow down. Zhao Yingjun said with some tiredness. Go out first and check with the lawyer. If there is no problem, send it out. Okay, Mr. Zhao, you take a rest first. After saying that, the assistant picked up the documents and walked out. In the empty lounge, only Zhao Yingjun was left. He sat in the boss chair with his arms folded, thinking about his achievements in the past 2 years. In the past 2 years, Zhao Yingjuan's MX company has developed rapidly and raised funds, and soon gained a place among similar companies. She has brought the company to this point with her own abilities, and only she knows the difficulties involved. Success seemed imminent, and he was just one step away from having his company listed on the stock market and getting rid of that damn child marriage. But I didn't expect that the finishing touch would be so difficult. No matter how hard I try, I just can't take this step. Zhao Yingjun was unwilling. After more than 2 years of hard work, this is the last chance. I will definitely make the company successfully listed. After calming himself down, Zhao Yingjun began to recall his observations during this period. It's not that she didn't suspect that there was a traitor in the company, but after trying every possible means to find out for a long time, she still couldn't find any clues. Why? Ding-a-ling ding-ling ding-ling ding-ling. Her personal cell phone suddenly rang. Chapter 15, Iceberg Beauty Zhao Yingjun. At this time, Zhao Yingjuan's private phone rang. She looked down and saw it was an unfamiliar number. I couldn't help but frown. Only a few close people know my number. But it is clear. This strange number is not someone I know. Zhao Yingjun thought about it and finally answered the phone. Hello. A calm male voice came from the other end of the phone. Ms. Zhao Yingjun, you must be confused now. Why do your competitors know every step of your company's plan in advance? Every decision you make is preempted by others before it is implemented. It's like there's a spy around you, but you can't catch him. After hearing what the other party said, Zhao Yingjun immediately became alert. Who are you? How did you get my phone number? What is your purpose? Lin Xian on this side just listened calmly. Faced with Zhao Yingjuan's 3 sharp questions, Lin Xian did not give a direct answer. Give me 1 million and I'll help you catch the spy. He. Zhao Yingjun would never believe such baseless nonsense. Why should I trust you? You don't even dare to reveal your basic name. How can I do business with you? Lin Xian seemed to have anticipated her reaction and laughed. Har, whether you do this business or not is entirely up to you. Of course you can choose not to believe me, but unfortunately you will have no choice but to marry your childhood sweetheart Tilda. Zhao Yingjuan's expression suddenly changed. Who are you? Why do you know this? Beep beep. Before Zhao Yingjun could finish speaking, Lin Xian hung up the phone. He turned on his phone and searched for the location of MX company. It is on the 36th floor of Leader Building in Donghai City. Lin Xian got into the golden Lamborghini and reversed it in a handsome manner. Boom. Then, he stepped on the accelerator to the bottom. The beautiful sports car ran out like a wild horse. He firmly believes it. Even though I hung up the phone. But I hit the nail on the head about what Zhao Yingjun cares about most, so she will definitely call me back. The purpose of Lin Xian's call was not for the 1 million. He did it for Zhao Yingjun. Behind Zhao Yingjun is Zhao Yingjie, and as the future successor of the Zhao family, Zhao Yingjie has the entire Zhao family behind him. Zhao Yingjun was the stepping stone that Lin Xian chose for himself to enter that circle. Of course, he will also help Zhao Yingjun to get everything done this time. But the method? You have to follow Lin Xian's rhythm. Half an hour later. Lin Xian parked his car in the parking lot of Leader Building. Afterwards, Lin Xian took out his mobile phone out of boredom, opened the video software, and watched videos. He was waiting for Zhao Yingjuan's call. As a strong woman, Zhao Yingjun must be a little flustered when a stranger knew her most difficult secret. In a panic, he would definitely send someone to investigate the person who knew his secret. The matter of child marriage should be known only to the Zhao family and a few people from the Lei family. Big families will definitely not disclose such things, because the most important thing for big families is their reputation. So, in the end, Zhao Yingjun found nothing. The less I can find, the more curious I become. So, I can only call myself again. Lin Xian had memoized everything, including Zhao Yingjuan's psychology and reactions. Then all I have to do is wait for her to come to me. At this time, Zhao Yingjun in the office was exactly as Lin Xian had imagined. After the call was hung up, Zhao Yingjun immediately noticed that the person who called was unusual. My secret was discovered by a stranger. Must check carefully. So she called her assistant directly. It's me, check my phone number. Give me the result within 10 minutes. After hanging up the phone, Zhao Yingjun sat back in the large boss chair, which made her look petite in contrast. At the same time, Shanghai International Entertainment Club, in the luxurious president's office. Mr. Zhao, like his sister, sat in the large boss chair. Lin Xian, who was standing next to him, handed over a pile of photos in his hand. Mr. Zhao, this is the man. I have already investigated all his information. His name is Lin Xian. He pretended to be you, smashed your store, and stole my car. That was my new car, and I never drove it once. Mr. Zhao, you must make the decision for me. Zhao Yingjie looked at the photo handed to him. They were all captured from surveillance footage, and the faces are very clear. This Lin Xian looks like a sunny and handsome boy. Looks like a college student. He is totally different from what Lin Xian said, the kind of person who is good at fighting, smashing shops and stealing cars. Zhao Yingjie frowned. Have you investigated thoroughly? Lin Xian nodded quickly. I'm watching it myself, there's absolutely no mistake. Lin Xian is just an ordinary college student with no background. My new little brother is his class monitor in college, so the information must be correct. Zhao Yingjie took out a cigarette, lit it, and looked quietly at the handsome boy in the photo. Do you dare to destroy your own place without any background? And he pretends to be his subordinate. Isn't he afraid that if I find out, he will suffer the consequences? Think about it. Zhao Yingjie felt that he should be cautious to avoid causing too much trouble. So, he threw the photo in his hand to Lin Xian. The things you looked up were basically all obtained from other people. They are not reliable. Go contact the people in the bureau and conduct a thorough investigation to see if there is any background behind him, and then come and report to me. Lin Xian took the photo that Zhao Yingjie threw over and replied. Okay, Mr. Zhao. After saying that, he closed the door and walked out. Zhao Yingjie inside the door was also rubbing his eyebrows with a headache. His action was exactly the same as his sister Zhao Yingjun. My own business has been targeted recently, and things don't seem to be going well with my sister either. Lin Xian's appearance at this time is very intriguing. If he was the one patrolling there, he could follow the clues and use Lin Xian to turn the tables. If not, and there is no background, then he won't get any good results. In the underground parking lot, Lin Xian was still watching short videos to kill time. Sudden. Ding-a-ling ding-ling 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 ding-ling. The cell phone rings. Lin Xian looked at the caller ID and saw that it was indeed Zhao Yingjuan's call. He smiled and pressed the answer button. Before he could say anything, a voice like an order came from the other side. Liarder Building, 36th floor, President's office, come here now. Lin Xian's face also turned cold. I'm in the underground parking lot of Leader now, in a golden Lamborghini, send someone to pick me up. After saying that, he hung up the phone. This is the previous war in which Lin Xian will face off against Zhao Yingjun, and he must not lose his momentum. Sure enough, after a while, a man in black uniform came down. The man came over and said politely, Hello, Mr. Lin. Mr. Zhao is waiting for you in the office. Please follow me. Lin Xian followed the man into the president's private elevator and went directly to the 36th floor. At first glance, there are only two huge conference rooms on the entire 36th floor, with a long corridor in the middle, and the sides are filled with flowers and green plants. At the end is a huge office with a sign that says President's Office. From the decoration and design style of the entire 36th floor, it can be seen that Zhao Yingjuan's aesthetic taste is really high-end. At the end, the man in black knocked on the door. Mr. Zhao, Mr. Lin is here. At this time, a female voice as cold as the one on the phone came from inside. Let him in. As soon as he finished speaking, the man in black opened the door for Lin Xian, and then closed the door after Lin Xian walked into the office. Bang. In the huge office, only Lin Xian and Zhao Yingjun were left. Chapter 16 Tit for Tat. Lin Xian's move is extraordinary. Lin Xian walked straight to the reception sofa in the office. Sitting there, it felt like being at home. He looked around the office. The simple professional style, with only some lines for decoration, is in line with the taste of the strong woman Zhao Yingjun. A huge desk and a luxurious and comfortable boss chair. There are huge floor-to-ceiling windows, and you can overlook the entire Donghai city from the window. Zhao Yingjun sat in the large boss chair and watched Lin Xian from the time he entered the door to the time he sat on the sofa, without any sign of panic throughout the whole process. Only then did she believe that it was really this young boy who called her. Lin Xian's information was placed on Zhao Yingjuan's desk. Too ordinary. Extremely ordinary. He is just an ordinary college student. According to the information, Lin Xian just graduated and has no job yet, and has no work experience. So Zhao Yingjun couldn't figure out how such a person knew her secret. This is a secret involving two big families. What's more, he even knew about the 3-year agreement. Looking at Lin Xian's appearance, Zhao Yingjun could see that Lin Xian and I are not from the same circle at all. So, at first, Zhao Yingjun always thought that the information was fake. The phone number is naturally fake. Perhaps someone stole Lin Xian's mobile phone number in order to conceal his identity. But the situation before her forced her to believe. The person on the phone is the sunny-faced college student in front of me. Zhao Yingjun put down the pen in his hand, took off his glasses, and looked at Lin Xian. You were the one who called me. And from the moment Lin Xian sat down, he was also looking at Zhao Yingjun sitting opposite him. She is indeed a high-scoring beauty. I didn't expect that this woman is even prettier in real life than she is on TV, especially the graceful figure outlined by the well-fitting suit. With frameless glasses and a capable look, she is a truly abstinent beauty. Lin Xian could feel the cold and powerful aura emanating from the other person even while sitting on the sofa. She is indeed a strong woman. Seeing that the other party spoke first, Lin Xian smiled friendly. Boss Zhao, nice to meet you. Zhao Yingjun didn't bother to waste time with him and asked directly. Tell me, who is the spy around me? Lin Xian still smiled without saying anything. Boss Zhao, now that the money is in place, everything else will be fine. In our business, it's a rule to pay first and then deliver the goods. When Zhao Yingjun heard this, his face turned cold instantly. He is so arrogant even in his own office. Who is this guy? Because they don't understand each other. Zhao Yingjun still suppressed his emotions and said calmly. Money is easy to talk about. Since you are here, you should know my character. If you take my money but don't do the job well, you should know what the consequences will be. Lin Xian stood up and placed the payment code on Zhao Yingjuan's desk. Boss Zhao, don't worry if you take money from others to help them get rid of disasters. Show the payment code as soon as you come up. Zhao Yingjun also learned a lot today. There are actually such men in the world. I really don't understand. Zhao Yingjun has been strong since childhood. Zhao Yingjie had been beaten by her many times since he was a child. So when her peers saw her, they were either afraid of her, or coveted her looks, or wanted to get the Zhao family's care through her. Zhao Yingjun has been very smart since childhood. She is very good at judging people. She can tell who the other person is and what his purpose is at a glance, so she can prescribe the right medicine. But it was the first time that Zhao Yingjun met someone who was so calm and composed, and directly stated his purpose. He really doesn't hide his purpose at all. Faced with such a person, Zhao Yingjun didn't know how to deal with it. But she thought about it. Maybe this is not a bad thing. Having been exposed to so many intrigues, this way of putting desires out in the open made it easier for her to accept. After a pause, Zhao Yingjun spoke. What is your purpose in approaching me? Lin Xian pointed to his phone. For money. Zhao Yingjun continued to question. Any other purpose? Lin Xian wanted to answer. Have. Zhao Yingjun was about to smile, but Lin Xian said. For more money. Zhao Yingjun was instantly furious. You're kidding me? As soon as he finished speaking, Zhao Yingjun, in a rage, picked up the ashtray next to him and threw it over. Call. The heavy ashtray flew towards Lin Xian with a whistling sound. It would be no joke if this hits. However, Lin Xian didn't show any intention of dodging. He simply held out his hand, slightly open. Puff. With a slight sound, Lin Xian used his superb fighting skills to catch the ashtray with 2 fingers. Dissolve the powerful force instantly. Lin Xian placed the ashtray on the coffee table. Smiled faintly. No words. Silence is better than words at this moment, although Lin Xian said nothing. But this is the trick I just showed. Zhao Yingjun immediately straightened up. This guy. Definitely not an ordinary person. At least in terms of skills, this is stronger than any of his bodyguards. He. Zhao Yingjun smiled elegantly. Just pretend nothing happened. She picked up her phone, walked over, and scanned Lin Xian's payment code. Dingxipay has received 1 million yuan. When Lin Xian heard the notification that the money had arrived, he smiled and said to Zhao Yingjun, "Boss Zhao, the money has arrived, we can talk business now." Lin Xian sighed inwardly. Fortunately, I have the skills given by the system, which gives me such a good opportunity. Otherwise, it is really difficult to make Zhao Yingjun, a strong woman, back down. If this matter cannot be negotiated, even if I helped her catch the spy, the rest of the story wouldn't be able to unfold. But fortunately, everything is going as planned. Zhao Yingjun crossed his arms and looked at Lin Xian. "Mr. Lin, can you tell me now who is the spy around me?" Lin Xian nodded. "Boss Zhao, please call your secretary Li Jing in, just as you normally would." Zhao Yingjun frowned after hearing Lin Xian's words. "Xiao Jing? It's impossible for her to do that. I brought her up." Lin Xian just smiled mysteriously. "Boss Zhao, just call someone over." Zhao Yingjun frowned and thought about it, and decided to try it out according to what this person said. If it was false, he would apologize to Xiao Jing. If it was true, Zhao Yingjun simply couldn't imagine it. After all, Li Jing was the closest person to her. Li Jing was familiar with all the company's secrets, even the design drafts of some new products, which Zhao Yingjun had never hidden from her. For so long, all matters in the company were ordered by myself through Li Jing. Now the rival company has repeatedly known our decisions in advance. Could it be that Xiao Jing is really? Lin Xian looked at Zhao Yingjun's uncertain face and smiled again. "You think she has been following you since she started her internship at school, so she must be very clean, right?" Zhao Yingjun didn't say anything, just stared at the confident and calm Lin Xian. Lin Xian didn't care about Zhao Yingjun's reaction and continued. "In fact, she is being kept by Lei Haolong. She has always been Lei Haolong's lover. As for Lei Haolong's affairs, I don't need to say more, right? You know him and his true intentions better than I do." Although Zhao Yingjun didn't completely believe it, he kept these words in mind. "How do you know these things?" "Because I am an intelligence businessman by profession." Upon hearing this, Zhao Yingjun glanced at Lin Xian with disdain. "Information dealer? You are an intelligence dealer at such a young age?" "Har har, Mr. Lin, if you don't want to say it, you don't have to say it. There's no need to be so perfunctory to me." Lin Xian just shook his head without explaining anything. Seeing that Lin Xian had no intention of explaining, Zhao Yingjun picked up the phone beside him. "Xiao Jing? Come in for a moment." After hanging up the phone, both of them waited quietly. Knock, knock, knock. 2 minutes later, a young girl opened the door and walked in. She saw the young man sitting on the sofa and said in surprise, "Mr. Zhao, you have a guest. Do you want me to come over later?" Zhao Yingjun didn't say anything, but waved his hand, motioning Li Jing to sit down. "Li Jing, let me introduce you. This is Mr. Lin, an intelligence businessman." Chapter 17. You live such a miserable life. Li Jing sat on the other side of the sofa, confused. At this time, Zhao Yingjun said to Lin Xian, "The person has been called here, how are you going to prove it?" Lin Xian looked at the unhappy beautiful CEO and chuckled. "Do you need me to teach you how to collect evidence next? She's here now. Find a few trustworthy people to look through her computer, especially her emails and recycle bin. There will definitely be a surprise." Zhao Yingjun was not vague either. He picked up the phone and called. After making some arrangements, he hung up. Only then did Li Jing realize what had happened. Tang! Li Jing immediately jumped up from the sofa. She stared at Zhao Yingjun with eyes wide open in disbelief. "Boss Zhao, you actually believed an outsider and don't want to believe me? I have been following you for 3 years, since I was an intern in my senior year. I have never contacted other companies. How could I have leaked the new product?" He. Lin Xian lay down on the sofa and spread his hands. "Did we say it was a new product leak? Girl, you're admitting it yourself." Although Zhao Yingjun already felt that there was something wrong with Li Jing at this time. But her long-standing trust and prudence made her decide to wait until she saw the crucial evidence before making a decision. Li Jing looked at Zhao Yingjun in silence, and became even more flustered. Boss Zhao, I treat you as my own sister. How could I possibly betray you? I still have some unsaved documents on my computer. I have to check them out right away. Don't let those rude people lose them. Li Jing ran quickly to the door. But I found that the office door couldn't be opened. So, when Zhao Yingjun sent someone to investigate Li Jing just now, he ordered them to temporarily lock the office door from the outside. Li Jing realized that she might have been exposed. But she still didn't want to give up, so she ran to Zhao Yingjun's desk again. Bang! Clap your hands directly on the table. Boss Zhao, we have been friends for so many years, don't you still trust me? For so many years, I was not responsible for your food and daily life in the company. I also helped you convey the company's business. After saying this, she shed tears and continued crying. One time you had a stomachache and no one was around, but I saw something was wrong and came to take you to the hospital. Don't you remember all this? How could you misunderstand me? I have always treated our company as my home. What good would it do me if I betrayed this family? Zhao Yingjun still folded his arms. Close your eyes and don't speak. Really? Li Jing has been with her for more than 3 years. As she said, she is a workaholic, and her food and daily life in the company are all taken care of by Li Jing. But when I think about what Lin Xian just said, Li Jing is actually Lei Halong's kept lover. Zhao Yingjun felt her stomach churning. Nausea. Absolutely disgusting. Li Jing tried several times but failed to get Zhao Yingjun to speak. I could only yell at Lin Xian. Who are you? What is your purpose in asking Mr. Zhao to instigate me? I think you have bad intentions. However, Lin Xian was smiling but not smiling at all, and he didn't even glance at Li Jing. Li Jing stood in the middle, like a clown. Just as she was about to say something else, there was a crisp knock on the door. Knock, knock, knock. A deep male voice came. Miss, I found the thing. Zhao Yingjun glanced at Li Jing. Bring it in. Squeak. 2 tall and strong men walked in with notebooks and a lady's backpack. Li Jing looked at what they were holding and became panic-stricken for a moment. Zhao Yingjun's heart sank to the bottom when he saw Li Jing's panicked expression. At this point, even without looking at the evidence, she could guess the result. Lin Xian heard them calling Zhao Yingjun Miss, instead of the company's unified address of President Zhao. He understood that this must be the person Zhao Yingjun brought from his family to help. A sturdy man put a notebook on Zhao Yingjun's desk. Look, young lady. At this moment, the recycle bin contains plans that were discussed in the morning meeting but have not yet been announced to the public, some daily life photos of Zhao Yingjun himself, and several emails that have already been sent. After seeing these solid evidences, what else does Zhao Yingjun not understand? She immediately flew into a rage and asked in a stern voice. Li Jing. I still treat you like my sister. Have I ever treated you unfairly? Why do you still want to disgust me when you are with that bastard? Zhao Yingjun snorted coldly. I realized that yelling louder would be useless, so I took a sip of water and calmed myself down. Just wave your hand. Uncle Zhu, drag him out and deal with him. When Li Jing heard this, she knelt down in fear and begged for mercy. Boss Zhao. Boss Zhao. Sister Yingjun, I know I was wrong. Please let me go this time. Please, don't force me. It was Lei Halong who threatened me. Vomit. When Zhao Yingjun heard Li Jing calling her sister and thought of that disgusting man Lei Halong, she couldn't help but dry heave. Uncle Zhu, are you so soft-hearted towards traitors? Following Zhao Yingjun's urging, a sturdy man came over and stabbed Li Jing in the back of the neck, causing her to faint. Then the 2 men dragged Li Jing out. The office fell silent instantly. Zhao Yingjun rubbed his temple tiredly. Lin Xian leaned against the back of the sofa, admiring the little-known vulnerable side of the strong woman. At this time, the voice of the system came into Lin Xian's mind. Bite. Congratulations to their host for punishing evil and getting a big gift package. Open now? Lin Xian thought secretly. Just waiting for you. Then I said to the system in my mind. Open the gift bag now. Bite. Congratulations to their host for obtaining the passive skill, strengthening the 6th sense. 6th sense enhancement, it can help the host avoid many troubles imperceptibly, and even the dangers that are directed at the host can be sensed in advance. Yes, it's still a passive skill this time. Being able to sense danger in advance is a life-saving skill. After all, it is easy to avoid an open attack but difficult to guard against an arrow from the dark, and it is hard to guard against a villain. Now, with this enhanced sixth sense, I don't have to worry about being tricked by others in the future. While Lin Xian was looking at the gift package, Zhao Yingjun calmed down. Said politely, "Mr. Lin, there were many misunderstandings before. I hope you don't take it to heart. I appreciate your help, but what else did you say you would do besides help me catch the spy?" Lin Xian sighed. It was rare for a strong woman to show her vulnerability, but it was like a flash in the pan and she recovered in such a short time. As expected, it's Zhao Yingjun. Listening to Zhao Yingjun's questions, Lin Xian knew that he could start his second plan, Mr. Zhao's brother-in-law plan. Lin Xian smiled slightly. "Another thing to help you." When Zhao Yingjun heard this, he couldn't help but be a little surprised. The traitor had already been dealt with, so what else could this person do to help him? "Oh? What can you do for me? Tell me about it." Lin Xian sighed and shook his head. "You've lived so long and are from a noble family. But now your career is not going well and you can't decide your own marriage. Don't you think you're living a miserable life?" Hearing this, veins popped up on Zhao Yingjun's forehead. What she can't accept the most is being called a coward. "Mr. Lin, I must remind you. Although I accepted your help, I also paid for it. We are on an equal footing. If you want to continue to insult me, I'm sorry, goodbye." Chapter 18, Pretending to be my boyfriend. Lin Xian looked at the angry Zhao Yingjun and asked with a smile, "Isn't it?" He stared into Zhao Yingjun's eyes and said word by word, "If Lei Haolong had any respect for you, would he let his lover come and humiliate you? He just relies on the childhood bond between you and him and doesn't want to let go, so he uses all means to monitor you and obstruct you. Even if you try your best to get rid of him, he still has eyes around you. Even your family is standing against you in this matter. I'm afraid that no one in this world is on your side. Everyone treats you as a puppet for a business marriage." Facing Lin Xian's words, each one was more harsh than the last. Zhao Yingjun clenched his fists, but couldn't think of anything to refute. The reason why she thinks it is a child marriage is because of her biggest dark history. That's why. Once someone finds out, they will mock her like Lin Xian did and look down on her. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't escape this fate. Zhao Yingjun frowned. "What can I do? What can I do? I can't control the thoughts of the elderly in my family. However, even if I die, I will never marry Lei Haolong." Lin Xian looked at the beautiful strong woman in front of him, who showed a rare look of frustration. There is nothing in Zhao Yingjun's life that she cannot handle. Except for the matter of child marriage. This further stimulated her unyielding personality, so she bore the pressure alone. Try your best to seize the opportunities you have worked so hard to get. Even though I was isolated and helpless, I never gave up. Har har, there's no need to talk about such a serious issue as death. Didn't I just say that I'm here to help you solve this problem? Lin Xian's calm voice reached Zhao Yingjun's ears. Zhao Yingjun didn't take his words seriously, but just asked casually, "Oh? Then what can you do?" Zhao Yingjun didn't have any hope at all. Although Lin Xian helped him catch the spy Li Jing. But child marriage is different, as it is arranged by the elders in the family. With Lin Xian's strength, he is completely unable to compete with the Zhao family. Lin Xian crossed his legs and continued. "If I were you, I would cheat on Lei Haolong and vent my anger." Cuckolded Lei Haolong. Zhao Yingjun laughed loudly after hearing this, and then gnashed his teeth. He doesn't deserve it. Who the hell is he? Should I humiliate myself just to piss him off? Are you crazy to say something like that? After saying that, Zhao Yingjun pointed to the door. "Go away, I have nothing to say to you." Lin Xian certainly had no intention of leaving. This was only one step away from his goal. "Can't you change your temper? I didn't ask you to really cheat on him, why are you so excited?" Zhao Yingjun was speechless. Only then did I realize that I was a little too excited. She took a sip of water and sat down again. Child marriage is her nightmare. Whenever I talk about this, I get excited. After a long pause, Zhao Yingjun spoke calmly. "Okay, Mr. Lin, thank you for helping me catch the spy before. I believe that your so-called plan is of some reference value. So, if you have any plans, Just say it directly and don't beat around the bush. Lin Xian smiled. Give me 5 million and I'll be your boyfriend. Puff. Zhao Yingjun really couldn't help it. He burst out laughing. Har ha har har, Mr. Lin, are you telling a joke? Lin Xian ignored Zhao Yingjun's ridicule and continued. Although I helped you catch the spy this time, can you guarantee that there won't be other spies in the future? And, if I calculated correctly, your 3-year agreement is about to expire. If the company fails to go public, do you plan to continue marrying your childhood sweetheart? Can you afford to make this mistake? Sure enough, after hearing these words, Zhao Yingjun also put away his smile. So Lin Xian continued. So, you need an intelligence trader like me to stay by your side to help you see through all the schemes and get your company listed successfully. Lin Xian's words made Zhao Yingjun fall into deep thought. That's right, no one can be sure that the assistant found in a short period of time will be fine. And even if the assistant is fine, how could he possibly take over so much work in such a short time? Although Li Jing is not a very good person, she has good working ability. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to value her so much. Thinking of Li Jing, the mood that had just calmed down became a little angry again. And Lin Xian had just helped him capture Li Jing, proving that he had the ability to do so. And most importantly, he is someone you can trust. It is obvious that Lin Xian is not in the same group as Lei Halong. Thinking that Lei Halong actually sent his lover to monitor him. People like him who are rich and powerful have a strong desire for possession. What if I let him know that I have a boyfriend? I guess he would be furious, right? Thinking of Lei Halong's reaction when he found out he was cuckolded, Zhao Yingjun really felt relieved. Besides, he's just a fake boyfriend, so I don't have to lose anything. 5 million is just a small amount of money. Good value. After thinking about it, Zhao Yingjun smiled and nodded. Mr. Lin, your method is good. A fake boyfriend can really save me a lot of trouble. It can also let my family know my attitude. But Lin Xian just looked at her with a smile, waiting for her to continue. After thinking about it, Zhao Yingjun felt it was boring and continued. But you don't have to be the one to pretend to be my boyfriend, right? I have someone better than me, someone with a better family background and education. Besides, I'm not trying to scare you, but being my boyfriend is dangerous, and Lei Halong will definitely not let it go. Even my family might attack you for their own benefit, and I may not be able to protect you then. Pause. Zhao Yingjun spun the pen in his hand. Bang. The sound of a pen falling into the pen holder. Mr. Lin might really die if he became my boyfriend. After saying that, Zhao Yingjun rested his head on his elbow, waiting for Lin Xian's reaction with interest. Lin Xian didn't take it to heart at all. Thank you for your concern, Miss Zhao, but the person who can kill me in this world may not have been born yet. Lin Xian is not bragging. With his master-level Sonder skills and super sixth sense, no one can plot against him. On the other hand, with a dark history system, even a powerful person can turn the tables. After all, how can there be someone in this world who doesn't have a dark history? These two combined. Whether it's a real fight with guns or poisoning, assassination and other despicable means, you can deal with it calmly. It's a defense with no blind spots. At present, it seems that his brother-in-law plan has been recognized by Zhao Yingjun. Just one step left. Let Zhao Yingjun recognize your strength. You have to let her know that I am not only good at intelligence work, but also very strong in my own right. Lin Xian stood up and looked around the office. When I saw the darts hanging on the blank wall, a confident smile appeared on his face. Chapter 19. I think I like you a little bit. Lin Xian walked to the wall and looked at the darts on it. There are a total of 6 darts on it, all in the 9th and 10th rings, and one is in the bull's eye. It seems that Zhao Yingjun is good at darts. Then I'll just make her convinced. Lin Xian took all the darts off the disc. Walk over to the large desk and place the dart on it. Zhao Yingjun looked at the darts in front of him, somewhat puzzled. You want to play darts with me? Lin Xian shook his head and said with a smile. Compared to those educated people, what you need more is someone who Lei Halong can't kill, right? Without waiting for Zhao Yingjun to answer, Lin Xian continued confidently. I will blindfold myself in a moment, and you can attack me with all your might and kill me. Zhao Yingjun raised his eyebrows when he heard this. Are you sure? Lin Xian didn't say anything, just smiled and nodded. This smile made Zhao Yingjun feel a little dazzling. Does he think of himself as a powerless lady from a wealthy family? You know, the Zhao family attracts a lot of attention. The Zhao siblings have been learning self-defense since childhood, and Zhao Yingjun learned it a few years longer than her brother. Zhao Yingjie has been beaten by her many times since he was a child. Until now, Zhao Yingjie still feels both love and fear when he mentions his sister. Zhao Yingjun is such a proud person, how could he have been provoked so many times? Seeing Lin Xian's confident smile, he decided to teach him a lesson. Lin Xian just wanted to try out the skills he had just acquired to see how effective they were. With his strong physique from regular exercise and his super sixth sense, Lin Xian is confident that he can dodge Zhao Yingjun's attack. He put down the dart, picked up a handkerchief beside him, and took 2 steps with his back to Zhao Yingjun. It stopped about 2 meters away from Zhao Yingjun. Blindfold. At this moment, Lin Xian's 5 senses were magnified. With the help of his enhanced 6th sense, the entire office was replicated in Lin Xian's mind. There are several red highlights, including darts on the desk and a dagger in Zhao Yingjun's drawer. That's what Zhao Yingjun always carries with him for self-defense. Zhao Yingjun looked at Lin Xian, who was standing there calmly and without moving. She planned to test Lin Xian's ability first to prevent herself from being too heavy-handed and causing death, which would be difficult to deal with at this critical moment. So she took a dart. This kind of iron dart has a certain weight. At this distance, with Zhao Yingjun's arm strength, if it hits Lin Xian, it will definitely penetrate halfway. Whoosh! The thrown dart made a small sound of breaking through the air. Lin Xian looked at the trajectory of the dart and realized that it couldn't hit him. This was a test from Zhao Yingjun. So Lin Xian didn't move and started to mock Zhao Yingjun. Didn't you eat? You can't even touch me. Zhao Yingjun also became a little angry when he heard this. Whoosh! Another dart flew, this time aimed at Lin Xian's shoulder. A red parabola appeared in Lin Xian's mind, reaching his shoulders. A second before the dart hit him, he slightly turned sideways and dodged it. It's okay this time, keep trying. Zhao Yingjun was a little shocked when she saw Lin Xian dodge so easily. After all, she was very clear about her strength and accuracy, so it was impossible for her to miss. Then, she began to take it seriously. Whoosh! 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 3 consecutive darts flew towards Lin Xian's head, right shoulder, and left leg almost at the same time. Tricky angle. Bang! 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 There were 3 sounds of darts falling to the ground. The darts that would be impossible to dodge in the eyes of ordinary people, in Lin Xian's eyes, appeared as 3 clear lines. Lin Xian only needed to lower his head, turn his body sideways, and lift his legs to avoid them all. Seeing Lin Xian's strength, this further aroused Zhao Yingjun's desire to win. I saw her gently taking off her high heels under the table. Then she walked barefoot to the table and spoke to attract Lin Xian's attention. This is the last one. If you can dodge it, you win. Zhao Yingjun quietly picked up the sharp dart, walked behind Lin Xian, raised his arm, and stabbed it hard. However, there were no bloody scenes. At the moment when he was about to touch Lin Xian turned around and kicked the unsuspecting Zhao Yingjun to the ground, then stretched out his right hand to hold her waist. Zhao Yingjun took this opportunity and immediately stabbed Lin Xian's left shoulder with the dart in his hand. Seeing Zhao Yingjun stabbing again, Lin Xian grabbed her right hand with his left hand. With a reverse kick, Zhao Yingjun fell on Lin Xian's arm. In just a moment, Zhao Yingjun was unable to move. The two people's postures are somewhat ambiguous, and if you don't know, you might think they are a couple in love. At this time, Zhao Yingjun was still lying on Lin Xian's arms. Lin Xian leaned over and hugged Zhao Yingjun from behind. The two seemed to be performing some indescribable exercise. Zhao Yingjun's eyes widened in shock. She has always been confident in her skills. She never thought that Lin Xian, a person selling intelligence, would be better than her in skills. She was controlled after just one move. Only then did Zhao Yingjun begin to seriously consider what Lin Xian said about being her boyfriend. This man. He is indeed quite capable. At least. It's not so easy to be killed by Lei Haolong. Lin Xian naturally guessed what she was thinking. A light chuckle. He took out a fresh lily from the vase beside him and placed it on Zhao Yingjun's lips. Zhao Yingjun opened his mouth subconsciously, biting this bouquet of flowers reflexively. Lin Xian smiled with satisfaction. Flowers suit you better than barenets. Har ha 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 ha. Zhao Yingjun laughed so hard that the flower in her mouth fell to the ground. She reached out and took off the handkerchief covering Lin Xian's eyes, with an excited smile on her face. Very good. I think I'm starting to like you. She stroked Lin Xian's lips with her fingers, and taking advantage of the moment when he was distracted, she twisted her waist and broke free from Lin Xian's control. Zhao Yingjun has always known her strengths, but from childhood to adulthood, she has never needed to use this method to gain anything. She really likes simple people like this. The purpose is clear and there is no need for intrigue. Moreover, Lin Xian is handsome, has wide intelligence channels, and is also good in martial arts. It's just that I'm a little greedy for money. But greed for money is even better. As long as you give him money, he will be an obedient dog. 5 million gets such a person. Zhao Yingjun was very satisfied. She casually took off her suit and shirt, leaving only a suspender that barely covered her private parts. Then he put the clothes on the desk and walked to Lin Xian. Cooperate with me. After saying that, Zhao Yingjun pulled Lin Xian to sit on the sofa, and sat on Lin Xian's lap. She reached out and fiddled with her phone for a few times, looking at Lin Xian with affection in her eyes. Lin Xian also looked at Zhao Yingjun tenderly and put his arm around her waist. Click. After taking the photo, Zhao Yingjun stood up immediately. Her expression returned to that of a cold, strong woman, as if all the tenderness and affection just now was an illusion. He opened his phone and looked at the photo carefully. Well, there is no place to go wrong. The two of them hugged each other in an intimate posture and behaved very close. Anyone who saw them would think that they were in love. Looking at the photo, she smiled proudly. Chapter 20. Brother-in-law wants to meet brother-in-law. Zhao Yingjun picked up his mobile phone and started checking the information on the table. DD. A message came on Lin Xian's cell phone. It's a notification from the bank that 5 million has been deposited into the card. Zhao Yingjun has comprehensive and detailed information about Lin Xian. Naturally, I know his bank card number. You've received the money, right? From now on you'll be my boyfriend. Even though it's fake, it must be more real than the real thing in front of others. If this matter is discovered or affects me because of your reasons. After a pause, Zhao Yingjun tapped the table with his fingers. You should know my determination. I don't mind going down with you. My assistant position happens to be vacant. I will hire you as my assistant. I will pay you as usual, but you don't have to do any work. Your job is simple. Just go shopping with me and attend dinner parties. That's basically it. I'll think of other things later. Is there anything you don't understand? Zhao Yingjun gave a bunch of orders on his own. After Lin Xian saw that she had finished speaking, he spread his hands to indicate that he had no objection. Buzz. 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 At this moment, the phone on the table vibrated. Zhao Yingjun looked down and saw that it was a call from his younger brother Zhao Yingjie. I took it directly and answered it. Hey, Yingjie, what's wrong? The tone of his voice unconsciously carried a hint of doting. Lin Xian sighed to himself. It's really a brother-sister relationship. The relationship between the siblings is so good. It seems that Zhao Yingjie should stand on his sister's side in the matter of child marriage. Zhao Yingjie's distressed voice came from the other end of the phone. It's still that Inspector Zhu. He's so annoying. He won't let me go. Sister, where are you? Come over here, let's talk face to face, and you can help me think of a solution. Lin Xian was listening nearby and wanted to laugh. Judging from the tone of his voice, he sounds coquettish. How does he look like the underground emperor Zhao Yingjie? Zhao Yingjun was also a little worried about his brother. Yingjie, is it serious? Oh, it's quite troublesome. There's another bothersome matter. Anyway, let's talk about it after you come, sister. Zhao Yingjun hung up the phone. Think about it. It's time to take Lin Xian to meet his younger brother. After all, the fact that he is her boyfriend needs to be let known to her family through Yingjie. So, she simply packed up and looked at Lin Xian. Come on, boyfriend, let me take you to meet my brother. After saying that, he walked towards Lin Xian, took his arm and walked out. Although things developed beyond Lin Xian's expectations, He did not expect to meet Master Zhao so soon. But I am already his brother-in-law. Are you still afraid of meeting your brother-in-law? Zhao Yingjun took Lin Xian's arm, walked to the door, and suddenly stopped. She looked Lin Xian up and down. He is handsome, but too young. Did you really graduate? Lin Xian was a little helpless. My information is still with you. Zhao Yingjun nodded. I just want to confirm that you look too young for me. Others will think I'm keeping a gigolo. Lin Xian could only smile helplessly. Zhao Yingjun thought for a moment. Let's go to the mall first. I'll buy you some work clothes. Lin Xian nodded indifferently and spread his hands. You are the boss, you have the final say. Zhao Yingjun has been working alone in the business world for so many years, and what he has the most is attentiveness and patience. She would never allow the shocking act of her finding a fake boyfriend to be discovered by anyone for any reason. There must be no mistakes in this matter. Just walked out the door. The two security guards widened their eyes in shock when they saw that Mr. Zhao was so close to a man. They have followed Zhao Yingjun for so long, and this is the first time they saw her walking with a man, holding each other's arm. Everyone in their company said that Mr. Zhao would be alone for the rest of his life. After all, they couldn't imagine what kind of man could pick this high-ranking flower. Zhao Yingjun looked at them and shouted. Keep what happened today to yourself and don't tell anyone about it. The two of them lowered their heads and replied. Mr. Zhao, we understand. Don't worry. Only then did Zhao Yingjun nodded in satisfaction and left. After she left, the two security guards looked at each other, both confused. It's not their first day working as security guards, so they know what to do. As long as you don't know anything and keep everything to yourself, just follow the instructions. Then, Zhao Yingjun took Lin Xian's arm and went to other departments of the company and introduced Lin Xian to everyone. This Mr. Lin Xian will be my personal assistant from now on. He will also be my boyfriend. After Lin Xian greeted everyone, the two of them walked out of the office area together. When the two entered the elevator, the office exploded instantly. Boss Zhao, is this iron tree blooming? This boy is so handsome. He's handsome, but too young. Boss Zhao is not keeping a gigolo. Don't you think they are a good match? They look perfect together. Why would Mr. Zhao keep a gigolo? Didn't you see how Mr. Zhao leaned on that man like a little bird? Yeah, I never thought that President Zhao had such a feminine side. Zhao Yingjun held Lin Xian's arm all their way to the underground parking lot. Lin Xian saw the two burly men called Miss Zhao Yingjun, looked around, but didn't see Li Jing. The speed was so fast, I guess Li Jing has been dealt with. There were 3 cars parked in front, a Lexus in front and back, and a Maybach in the middle. Zhao Yingjun took Lin Xian's arm and got on the middle car. Lin Xian saw the bodyguards get into the 2 cars in front and behind. Even in the car, Zhao Yingjun still leaned quietly on Lin Xian's shoulder. The cars were arranged by the family and the drivers were all the old guy's people. Zhao Yingjun really didn't slack off at all. Since I have chosen to act, I won't let anyone find out. Zhao Yingjun whispered in Lin Xian's ear. Honey, do you think my brother will be okay? He was also very considerate, touching Zhao Yingjun's hair and comforting her gently. It'll be fine, don't worry. After that, neither of them spoke and closed their eyes to rest. Soon, the car stopped in front of the shopping mall that Zhao Yingjun often went to. She took Lin Xian into the mall and went to a store that Zhao Yingjia often went to. After choosing carefully, she finally picked 2 casual suits according to her preferences. One navy blue, one black. She looked at the 2 sets of clothes and smiled with satisfaction. Both of them are good, they look a lot more mature. I'll ask this store to make you a few formal suits according to your size later. There are always fewer people in high-end shopping malls. Zhao Yingjun pulled Lin Xian into the fitting room and looked around to make sure no one was around. She helped Lin Xian put away his clothes while admonishing him. No matter whether my brother threatens or bribes you, you must hold on. Don't let him see anything. Do you understand? Chapter 21. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Lin Xian nodded calmly. Don't worry, I'm a professional in acting. In fact, Zhao Yingjun's worries are not unreasonable. The brother and sister grew up together. It can be said that no one knows his sister better than Zhao Yingjia. Zhao Yingjun's willpower is unmatched by many men. At one point he thought his sister would end up living alone. Even among the young masters of the big families today, he thought that none of them was worthy of his sister. Not to mention a pretty boy like Lin Xian. As Zhao Yingji's younger brother, he had experienced Zhao Yingjuan's strength since he was a child. When talking about his sister, Zhao Yingji exuded fear from the bottom of his heart. Although he was called the Underground Emperor and was fearless, he was most afraid of his sister. It was always Zhao Yingjun who had the final say, and Zhao Yingji dared not to say no. Once Zhao Yingji sees Zhao Yingjun in a relationship, he will definitely think of various ways to test Lin Xian to see if this boy who is about the same age as him is serious. In his eyes, although Zhao Yingjun had a very high IQ and EQ, it was his first love after all, so it was easy for him to get carried away and have a love affair. He will definitely help his sister keep a close eye on it. Zhao Yingjun looked at Lin Xian in front of him. Well, this one is nice. The suit I picked is really suitable for me. She sighed that having a hanger-like figure is very convenient because she doesn't have to spend a lot of time matching clothes and can only play to her strengths and avoid her weaknesses. Lin Xian in a suit no longer looks like a college student, but rather like a mature and steady workplace elite. It's true that clothes make the man. Zhao Yingjun helped Lin Xian tidy up his clothes and nodded with satisfaction. This is much better. The two hugged each other again and got into the car. The convoy drove steadily towards the Shanghai International Entertainment Club. Although Zhao Yingjun closed his eyes in the car, his mind never stopped thinking. Whether he can make his brother believe it depends on Lin Xian's performance next. Once Yingjie believes it, things will be easy at home. Yingjie is the successor after all, so the old guys still give him face. Then you will be not far from escaping from your childhood marriage. At this moment in Shanghai Entertainment, in the president's office, Zhao Yingjie was also rubbing his temples tiredly. As expected of siblings, their actions are exactly the same as Zhao Yingjuan's. Boom. 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 Zhao Yingjie tapped the table with his fingers, looking at the information at hand. Why are there so many things going on lately? I have more worries in this month than in the past year. I don't know where this brat came from. He is so bold that he dares to pretend to be me and do evil. The Inspector Zhu sent by the higher-ups is also like a dog's skin plaster. He has been checking Shanghai International every day, but no one knows what he has found. There are so many bars and game halls in Donghai City, but he doesn't go there. He just keeps his eyes on the ones under my name. Isn't this telling everyone that his target is me? He frowned irritably. Just before he called Zhao Yingjun, he received information from an informant and learned about Inspector Zhu's background. There are people on patrol this week, and they are gilded when they come down. He has his eyes on this piece of fat meat. Zhao Yingjie has tried hard, and the elderly people in his family have also asked the higher-ups to intercede for him. But this week's inspection was like the stone in the toilet, smelly and hard, and it doesn't bite. In fact, Zhao Yingjie could also understand that if Inspector Zhu, who had just arrived, could get himself into trouble and implicate a series of people, it would definitely be a great achievement. From now on, who in Donghai City can challenge him? Bang! Zhao Yingjie was so angry that he threw the photo of Lin Xian in his hand. According to the informant, this patrol officer Zhu is truly capable and has already obtained a lot of evidence that is unfavorable to him in a short period of time. Just wait until the time comes and sue yourself immediately. Zhao Yingjie was so anxious that he couldn't think of any solution, so he had to ask his sister for help. From childhood to adulthood, this sister has been cleaning up my mess. It can be said that if Zhao Yingjun had not been helping and advising behind him, Zhao Yingjie would not have reached where he is today. Boom, boom, boom. A sudden knock on the door interrupted Zhao Yingjie's thoughts. Come in. It turned out to be Li Xian. He approached Zhao Yingjie with his head tilted. Mr. Zhao, I have really checked it out this time. That Lin Xian definitely has no background. He is really just an ordinary college student. Zhao Yingjie didn't have the energy to pay attention to such a small matter, so he waved his hand. You decide. Just clean it up. Li Xian was waiting for Master Zhao to say this. Hearing this, he rubbed his hands and said hatefully. Don't worry, Mr. Zhao. We will definitely not let him speak, and no one will find out that it was us who did it. After saying that, he was about to go out, when a strange sound came from outside the door. Tar da, tar da, tar da. Hearing their voice, Zhao Yingjie stood up as if conditioned reflex. He quickly opened the window and called Li Xian for help. Quick, fan the room quickly, my sister is coming. When Li Xian heard this, he quickly picked up a book and fanned himself. The two of them worked hard to try to blow away the smell of smoke in the office. Zhao Yingjun is terrifying. As someone close to Zhao Yingjie, Li Xian has a deep understanding of this. They have watched Zhao Yingjun teach their boss a lesson countless times, and their boss could only obediently accept the beatings and scolding. So Zhao Yingjie's younger brothers all know this deeply. Even if you anger Zhao Yingjie, you may still be forgiven. However, if you anger Zhao Yingjun, even death would be a luxury. Privately, they all called Zhao Yingjun the female king of hell. This is enough to show how scared everyone is of her. Creak. A white hand gently pushed the door open. The two people inside the door stood still like frightened rabbits. Zhao Yingjun walked in holding Lin Xian's arm. Due to the angle, Zhao Yingjie only saw his sister holding someone's arm, but could not see that person's face clearly. And Li Xian saw Lin Xian's face. AA. Li Xian shouted in surprise, scaring the nervous Zhao Yingjie. He turned around and shouted angrily. You are fucking psychotic, what are you yelling about? Li Xian swallowed his saliva in grievance and pointed at the photo on the table. No, Mr. Zhao, this is that person. Lin Xian came with Zhao Yingjun, so Li Xian didn't dare to say anything about Lin Xian. Obviously. Zhao Yingjie did not understand what he meant and said impatiently. If you have something to say, just say it. What about this person or that person? At this time, everyone in the room was looking at Li Xian. Zhao Yingjie was impatient, Zhao Yingjun was confused, and Lin Xian was joking. He had no choice but to answer Zhao Yingjie in cold sweat under everyone's gaze. Boss. He is Lin Xian. After saying this, he didn't dare to breathe, nor did he dare to look at anyone present. He just lowered his head to reduce his presence. After hearing what he said, Zhao Yingjie turned sideways. Only then did I see it. The man blocked by Zhao Yingjun. Chapter 22 Call me brother-in-law. Zhao Yingjie looked at the man in front of him with some curiosity. He was very handsome, wearing a well-fitting and neat suit. When I saw the man's arms, he stood there in shock. What is happening? Why would my sister hold this person's arm? The sun rises from the west. Li Xian, who was standing next to him, so that his boss was just staring at Lin Xian and had no intention of taking action at all, and he became extremely anxious. He spoke angrily and said angrily. Mr. Zhao, it's him. He pretended to be you, smashed the store, and robbed my car. He was the one who did it. Zhao Yingjie finally came to his senses and recalled the photos on the table in his mind. The guy in the photo is obviously a college student. He is wearing a hooded sweatshirt and jeans, and looks sunny and handsome. The man in front of him, although also very handsome, just looked like a white-collar elite at work, without any student-like air at all. But at this moment, Zhao Yingjie had no time to think about those trivial matters. All he could think about was his sister holding a man's arm. At this moment, Lin Xian took a light step forward. He looked at Li Xian's angry face and greeted him with a smile. How are you, Boss Li? It was not until he heard Lin Xian's voice that Zhao Yingjie recovered from his shock. He looked at the smiling Lin Xian, his imposing sister, and the nervous Li Xian. Suddenly I was totally confused. What is the situation now? Why does everyone seem a little weird? And most importantly, my sister actually held his arm. He hesitated for a moment and asked. Sister, this guy. Unexpectedly, before Zhao Yingjie could finish his sentence, Zhao Yingjun started to scold him. What do you mean by this guy? This is your brother-in-law. It's rude. Puff. Cough cough cough. Cough cough cough. Cough cough cough. This time, Zhao Yingjie almost choked on his own saliva. He kept patting his chest to calm himself down. While filming, he couldn't help but speak. Ahem, you are kidding, this guy. Zhao Yingjun punched him again. Call me brother-in-law. Zhao Yingjun glared with her beautiful eyes and raised her eyebrows. Zhao Yingjie was so scared that he didn't dare to talk back. From childhood to adulthood, whenever my sister showed an expression like this, she would definitely be beaten. It has happened so many times that now whenever his sister makes this expression, Zhao Yingjie feels pain all over his body. It has become a conditioned reflex. In the end, she gave in under the threat of her sister. Hiss. Zhao Yingjie took a breath and opened his mouth reluctantly. Brother-in-law. There are so many people here now. If Zhao Yingjun really gets angry and slaps me, I will be the one who gets embarrassed. After all, this person came here with his sister, so it's not shameful to listen to his sister. Here, Zhao Yingjie found reasons to convince himself. Li Xian next to him was no longer calm. What? What's going on? Shouldn't it be like when enemies meet, they are extremely jealous of each other? Li Xian suddenly felt his legs go weak. How did they become a family? I am the only outsider. At this moment, Li Xian wished he could slap himself hard a few times. You just said something mean. Let you talk nonsense. Zhao Yingjun is known as the female king of hell. I actually offended her boyfriend. Li Xian wished someone would hand him a piece of tofu so that he could hit it to death. Ahem. Zhao Yingjie cleared his throat at this moment and said to the others in the room. All of you go out and close the door. I have something to say to my sister. Zhao Yingjie's words were like the sound of nature to Li Xian. He stood up hurriedly and tried to leave with his bodyguards. Lin Xian suddenly spoke lightly. Boss Li, don't be impatient, I haven't finished what I want to say. Moment. For Li Xian, it was like falling from heaven to hell. Lin Xian walked up to him and said softly. Did I let you go? At this moment, Li Xian was so frightened that his face turned pale, and his legs were shaking. Lin Xian, or no, Brother Lin, Big Brother Lin. Please forgive me. I really know I was wrong this time. After saying this, Li Xian was about to kneel down. Lin Xian stretched out his hand, pushed Li Xian hard with his backhand, and threw him onto the sofa. Zhao Yingjie looked at Lin Xian's actions and looked at him with a sullen face. What do you mean? I see you came here with my sister, so I'll give you some face. But you are in my territory, touching my people. This is against the rules. They attacked Zhao Yingjie's men right in front of him, which showed that they didn't take him seriously. If he hadn't been thinking about his sister, he would have hit her with a stick long ago. Looking at Zhao Yingjie's expression, Lin Xian just smiled. Since you know he's yours, why don't you keep your dog on a leash? If you get into trouble, won't your sister have to clean up your mess? Since you can't manage it well, I, your brother-in-law, will manage it for you today. After saying that, Lin Xian walked towards Li Xian who was sitting on the sofa. After hearing what Lin Xian said, Zhao Yingjie was furious. He was about to walk over to stop Lin Xian. Zhao Yingjun raised his hand and gently tugged at his sleeve. She knew that Lin Xian would not make things difficult for an insignificant younger brother for no reason. Among them, there must be something hidden. Lin Xian looked down at the frightened Li Xian. He reached out and patted Li Xian's greasy face. Boss Li, I thought we were even now. I didn't expect you would play such a trick on me. Li Xian knew that Lin Xian was talking about how he had complained to Mr. Zhao and how he had sent a mass notice to find his car. He felt that he had no way to escape today. Plop. Li Xian suddenly knelt down. At this moment, he didn't dare to look at Zhao Yingjie's face. He just kept begging Lin Xian. Mr. Lin, please, this is the last time. I really won't dare to do it again. Please have mercy on me and let me live. When Li Xian knelt down, Zhao Yingjun became interested. But Zhao Yingjie made him kneel down until he lost his temper. Everyone could see that Li Xian had some fatal handle in Lin Xian's hands. Lin Xian should have let him go, but he came to Zhao Yingjie to complain. Lin Xian kicked Li Xian directly to Zhao Yingjie's feet. I promised you not to tell you because I felt sorry for you. If I don't say anything now, wouldn't that be a betrayal to my brother-in-law? Then, Lin Xian looked at Zhao Yingjie, who looked unhappy. As your brother-in-law, I have already said everything that needs to be said. You can ask him the rest yourself. When Zhao Yingjie saw this, he roughly understood what was going on. He stepped on Li Xian's stomach and asked fiercely. Tell me, what on earth did you do? Chapter 23 Heaven and Hell are just a thought away. In the end, Li Xian couldn't stand the pressure and told everyone about his private sales. Even if he didn't want to say it, it was useless. Lin Xian also knew about it, and he had offended him. At this moment, Li Xian hated himself very much for settling the score after the event. If I hadn't offended him, would he have let me go? But it's too late to say anything now. Li Xian felt hopeless in an instant. Zhao Yingjie became furious after hearing this. He lifted his foot that was stepping on his stomach and stepped on his elbow instead. With anger, he twisted it hard with his foot. Even though one of his joints was broken, Zhao Yingjie's anger did not diminish at all. Looking back, he saw a baseball bat next to his desk. While playing with the baseball bat in his hand, he looked at Lin Xian viciously. I was wondering, where did Inspector Zhu get all that evidence? It turns out it's all your fault. You guys are good at causing trouble but not good at doing anything. Don't you love money? Today I want to see if you dare to make this money behind my back. I want to see if you can spend it alive. Zhao Yingjie swung the baseball bat in his hand fiercely at Lin Xian's kneecap. Snap. R. The crisp sound of bones breaking. Then Lin Xian's painful wail was heard. Lin Xian crawled while crying and begging for mercy. One of his arms and one of his legs were already disabled. Zhao Yingjie looked at him coldly and raised his hand again. Snap. There was another crisp sound of bones breaking. Lin Xian was already numb from the pain and stopped crying. He knew in his heart that Zhao Yingjie was not going to let him go, so he closed his eyes with a dead heart and did not move. Looking at Lin Xian like this, Zhao Yingjie lost interest in torturing him. He took out the dagger that he had kept close to him, pointed it at Lin Xian's neck, and with a fierce look in his eyes, he was about to stab him. Sudden. A strong white hand reached out and grabbed his hand holding the knife. Zhao Yingjie turned around and looked at his sister, who was stopping him with anger. Sister, why did you stop him? This scumbag actually sold drugs behind my back. For so many years, I have always remembered what my family said and never touched that thing. But this scumbag is so bold. If it weren't for him, how could I be forced into this state by Inspector Zhu now? Zhao Yingjun shook his head and snatched the knife from his hand. Yingjie, he deserves to die, but he can't die now. Zhao Yingjie looked at his sister standing in front of him in confusion. She continued. Patrolman Zhu is keeping a close eye on you right now. If you kill someone, wouldn't that be giving him evidence against you? Killing someone here is equivalent to putting the evidence directly in front of Inspector Zhu. You must stay calm. Hearing this, Zhao Yingjie regained his senses. Yes, if I kill this scumbag now, I guess Inspector Zhu will invite me back for tea later. Zhao Yingjun casually threw the dagger that he had just snatched from his brother to the dead Lin Xian lying on the ground. You know the rules of the road, right? Seeing this, Lin Xian stopped pretending to be dead and quickly knelt down to thank Zhao Yingjun. Thank you, Miss Zhao, for saving me. I understand. Then he picked up the dagger beside him with his only remaining good hand. The knife falls with a sudden movement. Half of my palm fell to the ground. A few drops of blood even splashed onto Zhao Yingjun's shoes. The severe pain made Lin Xian tremble all over, but this time he didn't make a sound. Zhao Yingjie looked at the blood on the ground, frowned, and shouted to the outside of the door. Someone come. As soon as he finished speaking, the door was opened by two strong men. One of them was particularly eye-catching. He was strong and over 2 meters tall. The most eye-catching thing was that he had a plaster cast on his hand. Lin Xian looked at it a few more times with interest. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. Bite. The strong man's personal information suddenly popped up in front of me. After reading it, Lin Xian smiled knowingly. So that's how it is, this is really interesting. At this time, a strong man said. Boss, you called us. Zhao Yingjie just signaled with his eyes to Lin Xian, who was lying on the ground. The two men understood, walked over, and each of them lifted up Lin Xian. A trail of blood was left on the ground. Zhao Yingjie saw it and frowned. Sister, Mr. Lin, let's go to the next office. It's too dirty here. Lin Xian suddenly spoke. Etc. The two strong men heard someone shouting to stop. Although they didn't know the person, they stopped obediently because their boss spoke in such a polite tone. Lin Xian, who was being held by two people, was so frightened when he heard Lin Xian call for a stop again. What else does this big brother want? I really can't bear it anymore. Looking at Lin Xian's smile, Lin Xian felt as if the god of death was smiling at him. Lin Xian just walked up to him, took out the key to the golden Lamborghini, and shook it with a smile. Don't be nervous, I'm just returning your car keys. It's a nice car. I'll park it in the basement parking lot of Leader Building. Remember to drive it, Tilder. After saying that, he reached out and put the car keys in Li Xian's pocket. Call. Li Xian just breathed a sigh of relief. One more thing. Li Xian's breath of relief was instantly lifted up again. He couldn't hold his breath and his face turned red. Your new little brother doesn't have very good character. Lin Xian mentioned this with a smile. Li Xian immediately understood. Is he the person Lin Xian is talking about, the squad leader who sold Lin Xian out? I understand. Don't worry, Mr. Lin, I will teach him a lesson when I get back. He felt a little emotional. Alas, I can only say that the guy had bad luck. Why offend this smiling tiger when there are so many people to offend? Now he is as unlucky as me. Lin Xian said nothing more and nodded. Then he waved his hands again to indicate that he was fine, and the two strong men dragged him out. Zhao Yingjie just reached out to take the cigarette from the table when he saw his sister standing next to him, so he had to retract his hand and put it back. He thought again of the proposal that had just been interrupted. Come on, sister, Mr. Lin, let's go to another office. Hearing his brother's address, Zhao Yingjun immediately glared at his brother. What, Mr. Lin? Call me brother-in-law. Why don't you thank your brother-in-law? Okay, follow me. Zhao Yingjie avoided the question. After saying that, he pushed his sister out. At the same time, he turned around, and while Zhao Yingjun wasn't looking, he immediately put on a warning look and glared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian looked at his warning look and knew what he meant. In fact, Zhao Yingjie did not acknowledge himself as his brother-in-law from the bottom of his heart. The good and obedient behavior mentioned above was just an act for Zhao Yingjun to see. However, Lin Xian had already anticipated this situation. He is not in a hurry. Just take your time. He has plenty of time and ways to make Zhao Yingjie feel relieved. Identify yourself as your brother-in-law. Chapter 24. Young Master Zhao is furious. In Zhao Yingjie's opinion, Lin Xian is not worthy of his sister at all. He knew his sister's character very well. A woman who is strong, hardworking, and never gives up, and whose work makes men feel inferior to her. He always thought that his sister was destined to be lonely in this life, and he lost a lot of hair because of worrying about it. After thinking about it, he felt that only a mature, successful middle-aged man could be somewhat worthy of his sister. And now, judging from the information Li Xian gave him, Lin Xian is just an ordinary college student. No family background, no amazing talent. My sister, who has always been strong-willed, wouldn't even look at such a person, let alone date him. After thinking about it, Zhao Yingjie was suddenly stunned. There is a possibility. My sister was cheated of her feelings. If you think about it carefully, it is really possible. My sister is my first love, a complete novice. But Lin Xian couldn't say for sure. There are almost no college students who have never been in a relationship, right? He might be a scumbag. This man must have used sweet words to deceive the love-loving girl's sister. Zhao Yingjie looks back. Looking at the sister who was following behind Lin Xian with a happy face. Zhao Yingjie secretly made up his mind to save his lost sister. Bang! Zhao Yingjie followed him into the office and closed the door. Seeing his sister and Lin Xian snuggling together happily, he smiled and moved over. Mr. Lin, how did you and my sister know each other? Hearing this, Lin Xian turned to Zhao Yingjun tenderly. I think it was love at first sight. At an angle that Zhao Yingjie couldn't see, Lin Xian gave Zhao Yingjun a look that said, come and take it. After all, the two had just met for a short time, and Lin Xian had no idea what Zhao Yingjun had done. If I talk nonsense and Zhao Yingjie catches me, I'll be exposed. Zhao Yingjun was also very smart. When she saw Lin Xian's eyes, she instantly understood what he meant. She looked at her brother with a shy look on her face. We met at a job fair held at their school. At first I just thought he was handsome, and the company happened to be recruiting male models, so I added him on WeChat. After a while, we got familiar with each other and got together. Lin Xian also laughed and joked. I think your recruitment is fake, and you are attracted by my beauty. Zhao Yingjun said proudly. So what? You are mine now. TSK. Spreading dog food like crazy. And Zhao Yingjie next to him had been petrified. To him, this world is too mysterious. He knew that his sister had gone to the job fair at Tunghai University more than a month ago. Many companies went there that day, after all, college students are the most useful labor force. With a blank slate, they can be trained according to the company's requirements and have low salary requirements. None of this is important. Important. It's only been over a month. Such a cold and aloof sister is already being clingy with someone else after only 1 month. Is she really my sister? And what did she just say? She took the initiative to expose the relationship. This is too. Zhao Yingjie tried to hold back, but couldn't help it. Sister, don't you think you guys are developing a little too fast? It's only been a month, and you're already so sick of each other. Isn't that a bit bad? He spoke carefully, fearing that his sister would get angry and slap him. Hearing what his brother said, Zhao Yingjun rolled his eyes at him. You know what? Once you feel it, just let it go. And, if nothing unexpected happens, we will get married next year. After saying this, she looked at Lin Xian with a sweet face. This drama queen. Lin Xian also accompanied her and reached out to scratch her tall nose. Spreading dog food again. For a moment, Zhao Yingjie found himself speechless. He had no choice but to point the finger at Lin Xian again, hoping that he would reveal himself. Mr. Lin, what business are you in? Lin Xian looked at Zhao Yingjie, who had a serious face. I don't do any business. I'm helping out at your sister's company. Zhao Yingjie did not give up. What about your parents at home? What do they do? Lin Xian still replied calmly. They run a small supermarket in their hometown and barely make ends meet. That. Zhao Yingjie was about to continue speaking when he was interrupted by his sister. Are you checking my household registration? How can you treat your brother-in-law like this? Zhao Yingjie pushed Zhao Yingjun aside, furious. Sister. You were deceived by him. What are you talking about? That's your brother-in-law. Stop fooling around here. Let's get down to business. Didn't you call me to tell me something urgent? What is it? It's not convenient to say now. Zhao Yingjun pinched him hard. What are you talking about? I said he is your brother-in-law, not an outsider. Zhao Yingjie looked at his sister somewhat aggrieved. She actually hit herself in front of this man. When I catch him by the braid, I will pay him back double. Lin Xian looked at the somewhat awkward atmosphere and reached out to pat Zhao Yingjun's back soothingly. Gently said. Didn't I tell you that I will help our brother solve this problem? Zhao Yingjun felt a little confused, as she hadn't told him anything. Where does he get the confidence to handle Yingjie's affairs? On second thought, he helped himself catch the spy. Could it be that Yingjie has a problem too? Zhao Yingjun thought about it and decided to cooperate with Lin Xian. After all, he still hasn't figured out his own strength, and they are now in the same boat. She reached out and lifted her hair, then leaned into Lin Xian's arms. I'm glad I have you. Zhao Yingjie looked at his sister, who had transformed into a little bird, and his eyes widened in shock. Sister, did you tell him everything? I really don't treat him as an outsider anymore. In the end, it makes his younger brother seem like an outsider. What else did he say he would solve it? How could he, an ordinary college student, solve the problem of weekly patrol? What a joke! All the old men in the Zhao family have gone, and there is nothing left to do. What can an ordinary person like him do? Even if Zhao Yingjie is beaten to death, he still doesn't believe that Lin Xian can handle his own affairs well. Bang! Zhao Yingjie slammed the table. Pointing at Lin Xian. I've been putting up with you for so long. You're such a liar. You cheated on my sister and now you're cheating on me. I'm telling you, I won't believe you. Bang! There was a louder slamming sound than before. Zhao Yingjun looked at his brother and scolded. Zhao Yingjie, I have tolerated you for so long. How can you talk to your brother-in-law like that? Do you still have me as your sister in your eyes? Seeing his sister getting angry, Zhao Yingjie hung his head like a mouse seeing a cat. Sister, don't be fooled by him anymore. Maybe he is Inspector Zhu's spy, and he is just around you to get information. Zhao Yingjie became extremely angry whenever he thought about the fact that his sister had no guard against this man at all. Lin Xian put his arm around Zhao Yingjun's shoulders, took her to sit on the sofa, and said soothingly. You two really are siblings. That table looks so innocent. Stop arguing and calm down. Zhao Yingjie looked at his sister and glared at Lin Xian fiercely. There's no need for you to pretend to be kind when it comes to our relationship. Chapter 25, beware of gentlemen, not villains. Zhao Yingjie looked at his sister in front of him and felt that all this was extremely unreal. Sister, you've only known each other for over a month. How can you trust him so much? Zhao Yingjun raised his head and looked at his brother, who was in disbelief. In fact, she didn't trust Lin Xian at all. She and Lin Xian had only known each other for a few hours. I haven't had the chance to talk to Lin Xian about anything else yet. So Yingjie's affairs definitely have nothing to do with Lin Xian. And with Lin Xian's ability, he can help him catch the spy. Then Yingjie's problem should really be solved. Thinking of this, Zhao Yingjun felt that he still had to cooperate with Lin Xian. After all, no matter from his ability, he is still pretending to be her boyfriend. You all have to cooperate with him. So, Zhao Yingjun smoothed her long hair with her hand, and with her other hand, she held Lin Xian's arm. At the same time, she looked at Zhao Yingjie and sighed. Yingjie, you are so ignorant. Zhao Yingjie almost collapsed when he saw this scene. He looked at Lin Xian and gritted his teeth. Okay, since my sister trusts you so much, then tell me why. I wonder what tricks you're up to. Tell me why my every move is being watched so clearly by Inspector Zhu. At this moment, Zhao Yingjie wished he could tear Lin Xian into pieces. If Lin Xian hadn't come here with Zhao Yingjun, he would never let Lin Xian be so arrogant in his own territory. Moreover, Zhao Yingjie has taken over the family business for so long and has always listened to the advice of the elderly in the family. He did not have complete trust in any of his subordinates. Everyone has eavesdropping and monitoring software installed in their mobile phones, computers, and any other electronic products. Everyone around him has a fixed place to eat and sleep. It can be said that as long as she stays with Zhao Yingjie, she will have no personal freedom. He looked at the calm Lin Xian with a mocking tone. Mr. Lin, do you want to ask if there is a traitor here? Lin Xian just looked at him seriously. Yes. When Zhao Yingjie heard Lin Xian's words, he laughed as if he had heard a big joke. Ha 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 ha. Sis, I told you he was a liar, and you didn't believe me. He's really amusing me. You know what's going on here, sister. How could there be a traitor? Detective Lin, you are not talking about that rubbish Li Xian, are you? I never believed him. He has no connection with the things happening around me. He is just a little brother who does odd jobs for me. Lin Xian shook his head and sighed. You are still the same as your sister, too confident. You should be on guard against gentlemen instead of villains. At this time, Zhao Yingjun deliberately pinched Lin Xian. She deliberately turned her body slightly so that Yingjie could see her interaction with Lin Xian. You said Yingjie is still young, you said he was talking about him, why did you mention me? Lin Xian also cooperated and frowned. I'm not worried about you too. Zhao Yingjie couldn't stand the way they were being so affectionate, so he interrupted their interaction. He said with certainty. If it's not Li Xian, then it's impossible. He looked at Lin Xian in silence, thinking that he had hit the nail on the head, and was speechless. Zhao Yingjie glared at Lin Xian fiercely. Sister, you see he has nothing to say, I said he is a liar. At this time, Zhao Yingjun also looked at Lin Xian with some concern. Seeing that he was as calm and composed as ever, Zhao Yingjun thought of how he helped her catch the spy. And his hands kept pinching his own hands rhythmically. He looked like he was in a state of ease. Feeling relieved, she continued silently and let Lin Xian play with her hands. Lin Xian shook his head and reminded. The tall and strong man who just came in and took Li Xian away, call him in. You mean Wang Xingxiang? Zhao Yingjie asked sarcastically. It's impossible for him to do that. Although he has only been here for a short time, I have someone following him 24 hours a day. That means he doesn't have any time for himself. By the way, even when he went to the bathroom, someone followed him. After Zhao Yingjie finished speaking, he glanced at Lin Xian, as if he had defeated him, and raised his head proudly. After hearing this, Lin Xian just smiled slightly. Then do you believe that Patrolman Zhu has already received the news and should be lying in ambush downstairs? Zhao Yingjie walked to the window full of suspicion and looked out through the gap in the blinds. There seemed to be a few inconspicuous vans that had never been seen before parked under the tree. He looked at Lin Xian with some doubt. It shouldn't be like that. He didn't have any time to pass on the message. And you saw his arm in a cast. There was one time when there was a disturbance in the store and he blocked a knife for me. His bones were almost broken. Lin Xian knew that people like Zhao Yingjie were extremely confident. It's still so tough even now. He sighed, shook his head and said, Yingjie, you said that they didn't have time to pass the message. But did you know that they just passed the message in front of you? Why do you think Patrolman Zhu and the others knew that something was going to happen here today? Luckily your sister stopped you just now, otherwise that patrol officer Zhu would have already barged in and taken you away. After hearing Lin Xian's words, Zhao Yingjie broke out in a cold sweat and lost all his arrogance. Looking worried. Zhao Yingjun was also shocked after hearing what Lin Xian said. Since Lin Xian said so, the traitor is most likely that person. She pulled her hand away and looked at Lin Xian, her eyes full of worry. This time she was not acting, but she was really worried about her brother. After all, the relationship between siblings is deep, and at home, her younger brother is the only one who supports her. She is really worried about her brother now. Lin wants to love you. Now that things have come to this, what should I do? Lin Xian looked at the trace of fragility revealed by the strong woman and hugged her comfortingly. Don't worry, didn't I tell you that I will take care of this matter? He patted Zhao Yingjun on the back, then turned to look at Zhao Yingjie. Call that man in first. Zhao Yingjie also wanted to see how Lin Xian proved it. He picked up the phone, said a few words and hung up. Boom. 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 There was a steady and powerful knock on the door. Come in. Zhao Yingjie shouted. Then, the strong man walked in step by step. Lin Xian didn't say anything, just looked at the man named Wang Jingqiang. Finally his eyes stopped at the plaster cast on his arm. Seeing this, Zhao Yingjie ordered the man standing still. Wang Jingqiang, open the plaster. The man did not show any hesitation when he heard the order. He untied the belt around his neck and picked up the fireworks stick on the table. Bang, bang, bang. He hit the plaster on his arm hard. Snap, snap, snap. It was the sound of plaster falling to the ground. The office reeks of dead skin. I couldn't take a shower for so long with the plaster on, so it was inevitable that there would be a bad smell. Zhao Yingjie frowned, walked to the plaster, kicked the plaster fragments at his feet, and did not find anything suspicious. He raised his head and looked at Lin Xian. Is this what you mean by there being a ghost in the plaster? Chapter 26 Imperceptible Morse Code. Zhao Yingjie picked up a large piece of plaster and threw it at Lin Xian. What's the problem? Find it out. I want to see what other tricks you can come up with. Facing Zhao Yingjie's provocation, Lin Xian still smiled without saying a word. He took the plaster block thrown by Zhao Yingjie and walked to Wang Jingqiang. He patted Wang Jingqiang on the shoulder and asked with a smile. You look so decent, why do you need to be sent undercover? Wang Jingqiang remained calm when he heard this. Mr. Lin, I don't understand what you are saying. After saying this, he still stood straight. Seeing this, Zhao Yingjie became even more suspicious of Lin Xian. He felt that Lin Xian was just bluffing. It seems. The fact that he was able to help Zhao Yingjun catch the spy was simply a blind cat catching a dead mouse. It's ridiculous to continue trying my luck here. Even Zhao Yingjun frowned her delicate eyebrows, feeling a little worried. Lin Xian saw everyone's reactions at this moment. He gave Zhao Yingjun a soothing look in return. Then lift the plaster in your hand. Bang! Throw the plaster hard on the ground. But the plaster did not break. It turned out that there was a layer of mesh inside for fixing. He picked it up, looked at it, then threw it away, picked up another piece of plaster and continued smashing. Bang! 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 Everyone was watching Lin Xian's actions. Zhao Yingjun was worried, while Zhao Yingjie looked at him as if he were a fool. At this moment, Wang Jingqiang finally showed a hint of nervousness. Lin Xian continued to search without distraction. Until he found a black crystal with a flashing red light, proving that this thing was always on. Zhao Yingjie came over immediately, picked up the black crystal and looked at it carefully. There is only a power button on it, and nothing else to operate. He took the black crystal and placed it in front of Wang Jingqiang. What is this? Huh? Wang Jingqiang calmed down and explained calmly. Mr. Zhao, I don't know either. I have never seen this thing. He firmly believed that no one would know what this thing was, and only he and the people over there knew how to use it. As long as you don't admit it, they won't do anything to you. At most you will suffer some physical pain. And the information had been passed on before I came in. If I didn't have any information within half an hour, someone would come to rescue me. At this moment, Wang Jingqiang was not afraid at all. Seeing that Wang Jingqiang refused to admit it, Zhao Yingjie raised his fist to hit Wang Jingqiang on the head. Lin Xian stretched out a hand and grabbed Zhao Yingjie's wrist. He is patrolling on patrol. That is a signal transmitter. He uses this little thing to transmit information. Zhao Yingjie was a little puzzled. How do you use this thing? It's not an intercom, it doesn't have a microphone to receive sound, and it doesn't have buttons. How does it accurately transmit information? Lin Xian said nothing. He walked to the coffee table and tapped it with his hands. Da 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 da. Rhythmic tapping. It's Morse code. Zhao Yingjun next to him spoke up. Wang Jingqiang also showed a look of surprise. In an instant, everyone understood. Morse code is a signal code that is intermittent and uses different arrangements to express different English letters, numbers, and punctuation marks. It was invented in 1837 as an early form of digital communication. It is a signal code and it is on and off. Such signal codes are arranged in different orders to show different English letters, numbers, and punctuation marks. Short and rapid, DA. Long and slow, DA. For example, the Morse code for the letter A is DA DA. The Morse code for the letter B is DA 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 DA. The Morse code for the letter C is DA 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 DA. And so on. By using different permutations and combinations and comparing them with the code table, it can be clearly deciphered. It just so happened that Zhu Xuanchar graduated from XXXX Military University, which had a required course specifically on Morse code. It turned out that when the burly man came in and took Li Xian away, Lin Xian looked at him a few more times and saw his dark history. Byte. Name, Li Xian. Tell, XXXXXXXXXXXX. The biggest dark history. He looks like a homeless person, but he is actually an undercover agent planted by Inspector Zhu. The rescue of Zhao Yingjie in the bar was arranged by Inspector Zhu. In order to ensure the safety of the undercover, Inspector Zhu always asked him to keep in touch. The way they communicated was to use Morse code through a signal transmitter hidden in the plaster. It was not until this moment that Zhao Yingjie fully understood. Why is it that every time I do a business transaction, I have to rush to the patrol department to conduct a surprise inspection? Every time a private business opens, someone comes to inspect. Zhao Yingjie was immediately furious. He picked up the knife in the office and was about to stab Wang Jingqiang. No, his name is also fake, it's Li Xian. Zhao Yingjun reached out and stopped his impulsive brother again. Don't do it, you're giving evidence to Inspector Zhu. As soon as he finished speaking, the sound of sirens was heard downstairs. Throwing down the knife, Zhao Yingjie walked to the window and looked down. It turned out that the suspicious vehicles that appeared out of nowhere had sirens on them. As expected, they are all Inspector Zhu's men. Zhao Yingjie was really angry and powerless at this moment. He picked up the black crystal that had just been placed on the table and threw it to Li Xian. Roll. At this moment, Li Xian smiled. I really love it when you can cut me here. If you kill me, you'll be caught red-handed. Plus, with the evidence that Inspector Zhu has, you'll never be able to get out of here again. Li Xian left the office with a smile. After a while, the sirens disappeared and silence returned outside the window. They must have all left, but there must be someone who stayed behind to monitor Zhao Yingjie. Although Inspector Zhu has not submitted evidence and applied for the arrest of Li Yingjie, the evidence he has is enough for Li Yingjie to spend several years in prison. But his purpose is to completely overthrow Zhao Yingjie. Kill the chicken to scare the monkey, let the whole East China see your methods. In this way, once Zhao Yingjie falls, the entire Donghai city will be controlled by Zhu Xuanchar. At this moment, Inspector Zhu was sitting in the car, listening to Li Xian's report with a sly smile on his face. In the office, Zhao Yingjie watched Li Xian leave wildly, and slumped in the chair weakly. He looked at his sister in front of him. Sister, what should I do this time? That Wang Jingqiang. Li Xian has always been close to me. He is an undercover agent. Inspector Zhu must have a lot of evidence. Although no one was caught red-handed, the evidence he has is definitely enough to keep me in jail for several years. The elders in the family have talked to someone and found out that Inspector Zhu is simply not responsive to any persuasion. Zhao Yingjun felt very sad when she saw her brother's helpless appearance, but she was suddenly at a loss as to what to do. So, she winked at Lin Xian while calmly comforting Zhao Yingjie. It's fine. There's your brother-in-law. Chapter 27. This call of brother-in-law is so sweet. Lin Xian looked at Zhao Yingjuan's gaze and said jokingly. Don't look at me like that. It's not like you anymore. Hate. Zhao Yingjun pouted and reached out to pinch the soft flesh on Lin Xian's waist. At the same time, she turned around as if she wanted to cover it, but deliberately let Zhao Yingjie see it. Lin Xian was deeply impressed by such superb acting skills. Then, he pretended to be helpless and said, It's not that I don't want to help Yingjie, but you see he doesn't really treat me as his brother-in-law. Zhao Yingjun heard this and complained. Yingjie is still young. Why would you, as a brother-in-law, bother with a child? She looked at Lin Xian's confident expression, and thought about how he had helped her and how he had just helped his brother catch the traitor. So young, yet so capable. He can definitely handle Yingjie's affairs. Thinking of this, Zhao Yingjun nestled in Lin Xian's arms like a little bird. We are all family, and Yingjie is not an ignorant child. If you help him this time, he will definitely respect you from the bottom of his heart. After saying that, she gave her brother a look that said, If you don't understand, you're dead. Zhao Yingjie received the message from his sister's eyes. Thinking about how Lin Xian had just helped him. And this time I came here to help myself. He also knew in his heart that if he didn't say something nice now, he would be really hopeless. He watched his sister flirting with this man, and his sister even learned how to act like a spoiled child. It was not until this time that he began to take Lin Xian seriously and truly regard him as his brother-in-law. The change in Zhao Yingjie's eyes naturally did not escape the attention of the two smart people present. They watched the suspicion in Zhao Yingjie's eyes completely disappear, and the heavy stone in their hearts fell temporarily. The two smiled at each other, and everything was said without words. Looking at his sister's gentle smile, Zhao Yingjie admired Lin Xian very much at this moment. He thought to himself, this Lin Xian not only took care of his sister, but also helped so much. He is really amazing. A real man can bend and stretch. I must appease this brother-in-law, and then my problem will definitely be solved. So, it's like changing your face. Zhao Yingjie had a smile on his face, looking at Lin Xian in an extremely friendly and flattering manner. Brother-in-law, I know I was wrong. I didn't know you well before. Who would have thought that you look so young but are so capable and amazing, right? Since I'm so sincere, please help me this time. We are all family, you can't hold it against me. Lin Xian smiled faintly. Look at Zhao Yingjie like this and listen to what he says. Lin Xian knew that he had completely conquered this unruly underground emperor. This brother-in-law is quite sensible. It can be said that a man who knows the times is a hero, and a real man can bend and stretch. We are family, there is no need to help or not. Originally, I told your sister that I was here to help you. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Zhao Yingjie immediately became happy. Thank you, brother-in-law. Then brother-in-law, do you need any information? Lin Xian listened to Zhao Yingjie calling him brother-in-law so sweetly and smiled too. First, give me a copy of the weekly patrol report. Remember to bring a photo. Okay, brother-in-law. Zhao Yingjie responded and hurried out. This office was only temporary and nothing was prepared, so he had to go to the previous office to get some things. Zhao Yingjun heard his brother calling him brother-in-law sweetly, and for some reason he felt a little strange. She sat there and thought for a while, but had no clue, so she reached out and pinched Lin Xian again. Hiss. Lin Xian was pinched and felt pain, and frowned. You really don't know how to control your strength. At this time, Zhao Yingjie, who had just come in, happened to see this scene, and he also frowned. Sister, don't you know how strong you are? Why do you always pinch my brother-in-law for no reason? Seeing his brother-in-law speaking for him, Lin Xian laughed out loud. Zhao Yingjun was so angry that she rolled her eyes at her brother. I really forgot about my sister after I got my brother-in-law. Here, Lin Xian sat in the boss chair and took the information handed over by Zhao Yingjie. He looked at the photos of the inspection last week. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. The dark history of Inspector Zhu was displayed before his eyes, which clearly showed the backers behind him and some of the things that happened between them. Lin Xian thought for a moment and looked at Zhao Yingjie. Go prepare wax, pens, writing paper, and envelopes. Zhao Yingjie was a little confused. Does anyone still write letters now? Can't it all be done with just a text message or a WeChat message? But he was not a talkative person. Although he was a little curious, when he saw that Lin Xian had no intention of explaining, he nodded and went out to prepare. Zhao Yingjun on the side was also a little curious about who Lin Xian would write to. She did not doubt the method of writing letters. With the development of modern information technology, although the speed is faster, its security is difficult to guarantee. Whether it is text messages from mobile phones or messages from WeChat, they can all be monitored and recorded in the system background. There must be a big shot behind this Inspector Zhu. Zhao Yingjun was a little curious about who the big shot behind the scenes was. After a while, Zhao Yingjun came back again with the things Lin Xian wanted in his hand. He put the things on Lin Xian's desk, walked to the sofa, and just sat down when he heard Lin Xian's voice. You two go out first. I'll call you later and you can come back in. Zhao Yingjun was a little surprised. Should I go out too? Lin Xian nodded. Listen, I'm protecting you. Hearing this, the brother and sister said nothing more and walked out one after another. Until Lin Xian was the only one left in the huge office. He then opened the letter, took off the pen cap, and wrote all over the letter. Then fold it, put it in an envelope, and seal it with wax. Sealing the letter with wax means that no one except the writer can see the contents of the letter, so the person behind the letter can rest assured. These things were not meant to be spread out, they were just used to protect Zhao Yingjie. Yingjie, come in. Lin Xian handed the envelope with Mr. D.I., Lotus Pond, by Yun Viller, written on it to Zhao Yingjie. Don't read this letter. Find a time to meet with Inspector Zhu and hand this letter to him in person. Seeing Lin Xian's solemn expression, Zhao Yingjie quickly put the letter close to his body. What if Inspector Zhu asks me who wrote this? Lin Xian smiled coldly. Tell him he's not qualified. Just ask him to deliver the letter. After listening to this, Zhao Yingjie nodded seriously.